If athleisure was a radio show, this would be that radio show. Bo Bishop, a man of fine taste and Montana class.
My wife will try and drag me to like an Easter brunch buffet, and I don't even like that because I don't like everybody standing over food I'm going to eat.
Friends with the highest intellectuals.
We found out the hard way. We have white furniture. That's all I'll say.
What a mess.
Oh, God. Holy
Literally. An athlete, coach, husband, and father.
That drives me nuts. My kids are, I'm him. Shut up. Kidding me? You're 9. You're not him. I don't even know what the hell that means.
And two guys who are considerable downgrades from a former football player. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Both the boys with you for the next 3. Reese is here. Cole is here as well. 10 o'clock, we hit you with the real truth. 10:33, Uncle Dom will drop by as is customary. 11 o'clock, we blitz the NFL. 11:33, a little bit of Shelley time as we check in on the West Coast. I'm guessing it's going much better for Jody than it has for the Jackets. It can't possibly have gone worse for the Jackets than it, and I'm guessing Mr. Shelley has enjoyed his sunshine. So we will check in with him at 11:33. All right, we've had what we all thought was possible, even likely, became official yesterday with the announcement that the Indiana game was going to be a noon kick. So this would now make 6 straight big noon kicks. It will be 6 straight noon kicks, not all big noon kicks, 6 straight noon kicks for Ohio State to finish the season. We are weary, I think, as a Buckeye Nation, of big noon kicks. We are weary of noon kicks. We are envious of what we see around the country in terms of the night game atmosphere that is supplied when you play a couple of games at night. Look, the Michigan game should always be at noon. That's cool. I'm good with it. But I also think that this is too damn much. So in order to attack where we are, we first have to acknowledge how we got here. And I think to really get to the bottom of it, you've got to go back to 2013. In 2013, and I'm proud to say that Rothman and I were on the right side of history of this, in 2013, the Big Ten added Rutgers and Maryland. Okay? The thinking at the time was that if you add Rutgers and Maryland in a cable buy, when cable buy mattered most, you would get the New York and D.C. metro markets. The reason it was important, and it's so strange to even try to remember this time, because so many of you, I think I'm the last guy in the world that's still on cable. So many of you are in these apps and you're streaming and you're on YouTube TV and all these things. But the reason that the cable buy was so important in those days is because you could charge a premium if you had a team of interest in those markets. So the Big Ten network in New York and in D.C. was oftentimes not even on those cable boxes. Once they added Rutgers and Maryland, the thinking was that they would be on those boxes in those two markets. But beyond that, they would also be able to charge a higher price for the Big Ten network. So, for example, if you had the Big Ten network and you lived in Utah, you might pay 2 cents a month for it. If you had the big, and I don't know these numbers, I'm just giving you an example of it. I don't know that these are absolute fact, but you'll get the gist of it. If you're in Ohio, the Big Ten network might be 40 cents a month. Okay? So the thinking was you add those two markets, you get that cable buy. Gene Smith came on with Rothman and I at the time that they added Rutgers and Maryland. And I asked him point blank, I remember it as vividly as possible. You added Rutgers and Maryland with the idea of cable buy. I don't think this technology is going to be preeminent a decade from now, and these two are not football brands. Can the Big Ten elevate these two and make them football brands? And Gene Smith's answer to me was, Bo, I think you're being naive. That's what he said. And I love Gene. I've got no qualms with Gene. I love Gene. But he said, I think you're being naive. Rothman remembers it. I remember it vividly. Gene's counter was, the Big Ten will lift Rutgers and Maryland. And that thinking is what got us to where we are now with 6 straight big noons. I'm going to tell you why. Ohio State, for as long as I've been around the program, since 2007, and you can talk to people who have been around it longer, Ohio State has been an incredible partner to the rest of its league. They've never asked for more. They've never taken more. Ohio State historically has said, yes, sir, may I have another? And we will do the good of the league. We will lift the league. And we're good with it. And we don't need more for doing it. We'll take it. We'll take it on. And we don't need more for doing it. And they've done this for a long time. This is opposite of, for example, the way Texas thinks. It's opposite the way some other schools around the country think. But it's the way that Ohio State thinks, is that we will lift. And Michigan does the same. So go back to Rutgers and Maryland. The thinking was that being in the Big Ten would elevate them. Well, what we've found over the last 11 years is that that's nonsense. It's nonsense. Nobody cares about Rutgers and Maryland. People at Rutgers and Maryland barely care about Rutgers and Maryland. Okay? So then extrapolate that to some of the rest of the bottom of the Big Ten. Does anybody care about Purdue who doesn't go to Purdue? Does anybody care about Illinois who doesn't go to Illinois? Does anybody care about Indiana who doesn't go to Indiana? And so forth and so on. You can do this at Minnesota. You can do it at Iowa. You can do it at Wisconsin. None of them, they're all very regional brands. And it's been Ohio State's job over the last 25 years to prop up those brands. So now, fast forward to Big Noon. In 2019, Fox said, hey, we've been doing the BCS. We want to make inroads in college football. And to their credit, they very smartly noticed that marquee games were rarely, if ever, played at noon, other than like Ohio State, Michigan, and Texas and Oklahoma. Everything else was in the 3:30 window or the 8 o'clock window. And Fox said, boy, they're trotting out a lot of Iowa, Illinois at noon on ESPN. What if we put a great game at noon? What would happen then? And as it turns out, it worked. Big Noon has been a stunning success for Fox. It worked, and this goes back to 2019 was the first Big Noon window when they really went all in on it. They also hit lightning in the bottle in that both Ohio State and Michigan have been great for that stretch. They've been great. But you can't play Ohio State and Michigan every week, right? So you have to find others that can help out in the Big Noon window. At least that would be the common sense. What they've done is they said, we don't care who they're playing. Give me the Buckeyes and the Wolverines, and they'll draw 3 or 4 million because they're two national brands. So that's how you get Ohio State as a 38-point favorite over Purdue at noon, because you're going to get 3 or 4 million people watching it. So it starts in 2013. 2019, the Big Ten window opens. All right, now what's happened since? 2022, the Big Ten in expansion because they were asleep at the wheel as the SEC gobbled up Texas and Oklahoma, both of which you could have had a decade ago. Could have had both of them. But we were worried about AAU certification and nonsense, right? Give us Rutgers and Maryland, not Texas and Oklahoma. We want cable buy. They had it wrong, guys. They had it wrong from the beginning. So they had USC and UCLA. Well, what can't you do with UCLA and USC? You can't play at noon. Not at home. That's 9 a.m. You can't kick at 9 a.m. in Los Angeles. Can't do it. So then what do? And thank God they did. A year later, actually, let's get this chronologically right. And then in August of 22, with Kevin Warren at the helm, the Big Ten lands an NFL television deal. Noon, 3:30, and 8, 3 different networks. Lauded across the business. And you'd have to look at the fine print on this, but what is abundantly clear is that Big Noon and Fox gets priority what feels like 9 times out of 10. We know that they pick these weeks, right? We know that, but what we can absolutely tell is that Fox is paying the most, and so Fox gets the majority of the picks. And guess what they're going to pick? Buckeyes, 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 Buckeyes. Every chance. Give us to them. Wasn't Marshall Big Noon? There's been so many I can't even remember. We played so many nonsensical Big Noon games that don't even make sense to be at noon. So now fast forward to last summer. And thank God they did this. They added Washington and Oregon. Finally, the league saw what was truly important. It's the football brand. It's not the market. It's not cable buy. It's, do you have football brands that people want to see? Meantime, your biggest competitor in college football eyeballs, in all of it, played the hits. They added Texas and Oklahoma. Clemson, Florida State, all these teams have tried to want to get into the SEC. The SEC says, no, we're good. We got 16. We got 16. We got 16, and we've probably got... It's crazy because it's the most regional conference in the history of conferences, but we've probably got 8 national brands now in the SEC, and they can play in any window we want them to play in. We can play them at noon. We can do what we did last weekend. We can play a decent game at noon, a great game at 3:30, and a banger at night, and it can all be on one network. And we can manipulate them week to week on what makes the most sense for us and what makes the most sense for our schools. This is how you got here. I always use the line from Don Draper in Mad Men, this is what the money's for. This is what the money is for. My contention, though, is that Ohio State, and they signed it, there's probably no way out of it. That deal that they signed in 2022 as a league is a 7-year, $7 billion deal. So that takes you through 2029. So more of this to come. If anyone can do something to try to prevent some of this or save certain atmospheres, try to put lipstick on a pig and make Big Noon and make playing noon games all the time special. And again, I'm for certain games being at noon. The Michigan game should be at noon. But Ohio State should not have to carry water for an entire league for a decade at noon and not for the same compensation as everybody else. You want us to play noon and carry this? We're going to need a little bit more money to do it. And we should be able to protect certain games away from this window. Absolutely. And I'm not saying the Indiana game's even one of them. But damn, the Penn State game should be. The Penn State game should be at night. Next year's Texas game better not be big noon. But it's going to be. It's going to be. It's going to be Arch Manning's first start as the starter at Texas. I know he started games this year, but his first one as the starter at Texas. It's going to be big noon. That game should be night. And I don't even know what they can do. I know Top Gun Ted and Ross are on the job, and they're cognizant of this. Everybody hears you. I'm not sure what they can do about it. But this is how you got here, and this is where you're at. So get used to it, is the long and short of it, Reese.
Yeah, I wonder with the season ending on January 21st, well, I guess January 20th will be the national championship game, but it'll hit 4 zeros likely on that 21st, so it'll be a Tuesday. Yeah. How things get renegotiated, if things get renegotiated. I don't know. I think back to 2021 when Texas and Oklahoma announced they were leaving the Big 12, and I think there was reporting that came out that said, well, they tried to call the Big 10 first. And how different things would be if they'd have just listened to Texas and Oklahoma.
They didn't want to take Oklahoma because they didn't have AAU certification.
I think 9 of 10 people.
Academics.
I was about to say 9 of 10 people listening to you right now would be like, what is even that?
Yeah.
Travel basketball? Why would Oklahoma have that? To the point. So I do wonder just how fluid things can be when you kind of take a full picture of the 2024 season and everything that happened, everything that's going to be changing in terms of revenue sharing, in terms of conference realignment, if that in fact happens. Because that would be a travesty if you had Ohio State, Texas at noon.
It would be.
Do the other networks say to Fox, like, you can't be doing
I think what we've learned this year, none of us know the fine print on this contract, but what we've learned this year is that Fox has 8 votes and everybody else has 1. It feels like they get 8 picks and everybody else gets 1. I don't know how NBC got the Oregon game. The only thing I can think is you can't play a game at 9 a.m. in Eugene. It's the only thing I can think. I don't know. But this is where you're at. And it's gotten so bad that Joel Klatt, who's called more Buckeye games than anybody this side of Paul Keels, weighed in on this. We'll tell you what he had to say coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Pizza lovers, listen up. We're not that cheesy, but this deal is. For a limited time at Speedway, get 2 big pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce for only $5 with Speedy Rewards. And you know we got even more, like flavors galore. Okay, maybe we are a little cheesy. Choose between classic 3-cheese, crispy pepperoni, or extreme meat pizza. Save big on 2 pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce. Get the $5 meal deal with Speedy Rewards. Only at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. See app for full terms.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844-medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be right for you. Visit 844-medohio.com.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Hebben, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to maryhaven.com today.
It's Thursday Night Football on the Fan. Catch the Commanders at the Eagles from Cheesesteak Land. Live coverage starts Thursday at 8.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. Here's something that ECO stands for that you did not see coming. Okay. Echocardiogram. I did not see that coming.
Get Eco.
ECO. Most people think if they call someone about their furnace or heat pump, some unscrupulous salesman is going to pressure them to buy a whole new unit, even if their old one could be repaired and give them years more service.
Get Eco.
ECO. Your heart starts racing and you're sweating and breathing funny, and your echocardiogram just goes nuts. I'll say. As the guy who invented those hospital wristbands that always stick to your arm hair, I know a thing or two about echocardiograms.
Get Eco.
ECO. But call Eco, and our team will explain all your options, what you can fix, how much it costs, and how that compares to a whole new system. And your echocardiogram? Nice and flat. I mean flat-ter. Actually, flat is bad. Don't worry, they didn't let me invent any of the medical stuff.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cold out there today, much colder than anything that we have felt over the last week. Temperatures today will be below normal with a high of 53. Clouds in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon, sunshine on your Wednesday, highs in the 50s. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey there, Chuckle Bo here, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. And as true jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, but they also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Diamond Cellar. Check them out. Salmo Road, Easton Town Center, diamondcellar.com for more. The cool thing about Diamond Cellar, you're a customer in there once, you're a customer for life. I got to go in there probably tomorrow. I need a watch needs to be serviced. They'll greet me with a smile as they always do, and it's so great to see those guys. It's as good as it gets here in Central Ohio when it comes to your jewelry needs. All right, this has gotten so bad that Joel Klatt, kind of out of nowhere, did one-man PR for Fox. And I think Joel's excellent. I think he's excellent. Here's Joel's series of tweets yesterday evening. Lots of talk about Big Noon Saturday. Here are some things I think you should know. Big Noon Saturday has been the most watched college football window for the last few years. Last year, our window averaged 7 million a game. Prior to Big Noon, this window in college football was non-existent. Fox Sports saw a clear opportunity to build value into the sport by creating a third window for premium college football. That clearly worked. The Big Ten entered into a partnership with 3 network partners, and those partners have exclusivity in their preferred windows. Fox at noon, CBS at 3:30, and NBC at 8. When each network gets to select a game for a network air, it must be shown in that network's exclusive window. When we have the privilege to select one of the great matchups of the week, we showcase that game in our premium window. I love the sport. I'm committed to showcasing the incredible environments, programs, and players that make our sport so incredible. You'll find me and the entire hardworking Fox Sports Big Noon crew wherever we are sent, celebrating this great sport and its amazing fans. Then Jay Book, who's been around the Buckeye football conversation for a long time on Twitter, he said, in what universe is it fair for Ohio State to have to carry the weight with this many Big Noon games? Having 5 or 6 games on Big Noon is insane. Why shouldn't Ohio State demand more money considering the ratings are off the backs of the Buckeyes? It literally kills OSU home atmosphere. Joel responded to him. I understand your point. However, you realize that we called 18 Michigan games the last 3 seasons. Should we send them a larger check as well? The conference, along with Ohio State, signed the contract. They knew the plan. And that's the part I keep coming back to. This is what the money's for, Reese. Go ahead.
Well, he asks the question, Joel does, should we cut them a bigger check? Yes.
Yes.
You should also cut Ohio State a bigger check. Mm-hmm. Especially with the weight that this Buckeye team's been carrying this season for Fox's premium window. Like, I think you could absolutely, and again, not sure exactly how ironclad these things are, probably pretty, but absolutely should Ohio State go to these networks and say, we've got to rethink how we're doing all of this? Because I think Ohio State, as you are the crown jewel of the conference, the big brand in the sport, and I think this is what Gene probably would have never done, was try to play some bully ball with this. Because outside of that, you said the doom scenario for Ohio State, Texas is that's Big Noon. And Ohio State does the same thing next season with probably not 5 straight Big Noon kicks, but a lot of games down the stretch of the season in 2025 are Big Nooners on Fox because the rest of the conference just can't carry it, and you can't do 9 a.m. kicks in Eugene or in Los Angeles or in Seattle.
There are only, to Joel's point, there are only 2 he acknowledges it. There are only 2 teams that can carry a Big Noon window and deliver a number big enough to validate it. And it's Ohio State and Michigan. That's it. Because when they did conference expansion, they went for television markets instead of football brands. My God, you could have had Texas and Oklahoma. What are we doing? What are we doing? 10 years ago. And they didn't. They went for markets. And this is what you get. You have a bunch of hangers-on in this league who have to be propped up by the Buckeyes and the Wolverines over and over and over again. And your bigger brands, other than the Buckeyes and Wolverines and the Nittany Lions to a certain degree, and I don't even know if Penn State is, honestly. I don't know if Penn State can carry Big Noon. Like, does Penn State, Minnesota, does that rate? I don't know.
You bring
Not
up
certainly the way Ohio State, Michigan does.
Penn State, and I saw Matt Fink say this on Twitter too. Penn State's an interesting one here because Big Noon kickoff kind of killed the whiteout because they saved that for a night game, and all of Penn State's good games are played at noon.
It's 100% accurate. That's why I said in the first segment, Ohio State needs to say, we're protecting Penn State. We're we're only going to play them one more year. We're protecting the Penn State game. We are going to protect the Texas game next year. That Texas game cannot be noon. It cannot be. Ohio resident with this on social. I agree with the sentiment, but honestly, in the last 6 or 7 years, who's made more money for who, Ohio State or Fox? I'll tell you this. Is there Big Noon without Buckeyes?
No. You're not able to build this brand without Ohio State.
No.
Or I guess to Joel's point, Michigan. So,
well, they got really lucky that
lump them there too.
They got very lucky that Michigan has been great the last 3 years. Very lucky. Because if Michigan was meandering Michigan from 2008 to 2015, that stretch, you think they're going to be at noon? They are dependent on Ohio State being great and them playing at noon. The whole experiment is. And again, I want to be abundantly clear. I think a lot of it is great. I think playing the Michigan game at noon is great. I think playing Iowa at noon is great. Wisconsin noon here is great. But there should be something that's protected. And the other part of this, and I talked about this with the Juice Bringers this morning, there is a not just the environment. There is a recruiting disadvantage in playing at noon that is extraordinary. Let's say you're Riley Pettijohn, the 5-star linebacker out of Texas, and you want to come to a Buckeye game and see what it's all about. And you're playing in the Texas State playoffs on a Friday night. How, pray tell, are you going to get here by noon?
Unless you got a private jet. Probably not flying commercial that quick.
How are you going to get here?
The reddest eye.
It's one of those things that I'm just thankful. This is the only real way out. And I know that this has been, I don't mean to pour water on a fire that was hoping for change and something different. But the reality is the only way you can do it is at this point, because you've signed the contracts, is you need to go to Petiti, who needs to go to his partners. And it's got to be Ross and Top Gun Ted. And they got to say, hey, you got to give us a solid here. Give us a solid. And the other thing that they've got to do from a scheduling standpoint is they've got to put Oregon, USC, Washington, because all of those are bigger brands than the derelicts of the Big Ten. You need those brands to play in the Eastern time zone so that they can prop up the garbage.
And I think you need to bring them into the fold if you're Ohio State. Like, you need to come to Tony Petiti with Oregon, with USC, with Washington. And that needs to be a concerted effort, probably Michigan as well, because the more of you that there are sounding this alarm, then the more likely they are to listen.
Yeah.
In terms of Fox. Because if you're just Ohio State, they just be like, nah, you're good where you are because here's the contract you signed. So feel free to complain.
There's one other development that happened this year, Reese, and we talked about it when it happened. Tennessee, Alabama at 3:30 did better than Ohio State, Oregon. 40 years at 3:30 for that conference has made many teams who are the most regional of teams that you could ever be. That is the most regional conference you could be. But 40 years in primetime television on network television at 3:30 has made them national brands. So they can lift their own. Georgia, Ole Miss, I guarantee it's going to do a monster number. You can't get more. They're Ole Miss. They're the Rebels, for God's sakes. You can't get more regional than that. But they play Georgia, and I bet they did $10 million.
It does feel like with that game and the regionality you spoke of, the closer it got to Ole Miss might pull this off, their numbers grew.
Yeah. So that's where you're at. So noon is what it is. Now, the Big Ten could have done you favors and played you the game this week sometime other than noon. They could have done you at 3:30. They could have done you at night, I suppose. But that one, this isn't even a Fox game. It's just happenstance that it's going to be another noon game at Wrigley, which sets its own set of issues. We'll get into that a little bit next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Hey, football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Anthony Rothman here to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas, where you'll compete for the grand prize, a trip for two to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Friday night at Brothers Bar and Grill in the Arena District. I'll be there 5 to 7 p.m., getting ready for the Jackets, and I'll give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
James Laurinaitis here for my guys at Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I love my Kubota tractor, RTV, and zero-turn I got from Green & Sons, and you can check them out online at greenandsons.com or visit them in store in Mount Sterling or north of Marysville in Raymond for all your Kubota needs.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
The Jackets are in Seattle for a battle with a Kraken. What the hell is a Kraken anyway? Live fan coverage starts Tuesday night at 9:30.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Blue Jackets hockey, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
FX presents American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez.
Football is all I got. Everything's okay when I'm playing ball.
You can't make mistakes, Aaron. People are watching you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Is there something that you want to tell me?
You don't know the kind of thoughts I have.
FX's American Sports Story. Aaron Hernandez. All new Tuesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Max Bankman, I'm the new doctor.
Welcome aboard the Odyssey.
ABC Thursdays.
This ship is heaven. We're tending to our passengers' dreams. I'm in.
From 911 executive producer Ryan Murphy comes a splashy new drama on a luxury cruise ship with Joshua Jackson and Don Johnson.
It's your job to keep everyone alive.
She's in VFib. 1, 2, 3. Clear.
I have a pulse.
You're going to be okay.
Dr. Odyssey. Thursdays, 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
And speaking of High Bank, too late to get in on the gala tonight. That's locked and loaded. Looking forward to that tonight at High Bank in Grandview, but not too late to join us tomorrow for a live broadcast of this fine program. High Bank in Grandview, 9 a.m., doors open. We are broadcasting our show live. We'll have our barrel picks. Their incredible brunch menu will be ready to go as well, including the one that was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. So you have that to look forward to. So we'll see you tomorrow at High Bank in Grandview. Really, really looking forward to that one. I was listening to Steve Hellwagon, who I just absolutely adore. He was on with the Juice Bringers this morning and talked about kind of how special it is to play at Wrigley and kind of the novelty of it. And novelty is my word, not his, and that's kind of where we are with this thing. It will be cool to see an Ohio State football helmet and uniform run up and down with the ivy and with the bleachers and with everything that comes, Murphs and all that stuff that comes with Wrigley. I don't know, and we had Austin on yesterday, Reese, and he was not pleased about it at all, thought it was a clown show. And part of the reason he cited, and I'll acknowledge this, I haven't looked into this enough to be able to comment strongly on it, is that there is a safety issue here, and there is just a operational issue here. So the safety issue would be that wall in the end zone comes quick, the way that this field is set up.
Yes.
The second issue is, how good is that grass going to be in mid-November in Chicago? Can the turf hold up? Has it taken seed the way that it needs to? So that's the second thing that I think is a real point of concern. Operationally, how does a baseball stadium that is over 100 years old, that houses 30 Major League Baseball players, house 100 plus 120 plus football team and support staff? How do you do locker rooms? All of that? Logistically, how do you pull that off? It's one thing to do it as a one-off. It's another thing, which is what they're doing here. It's another thing to do it in a bowl where you can prepare for it. I guess they're going to probably treat this like a bowl. The reality is there probably wasn't anywhere else for Northwestern to play this game. They didn't want to play it at their little stadium they built on the lake. I was there this summer when the boys had lacrosse. I went and looked at it. It's like 10, 12,000 seats. It's pretty cool for a high school stadium, but it's right on the lake that they're doing there. And they're eventually going to build a new Ryan Field. It's going to be awesome. But they didn't want to do it there because they know they could sell way more tickets than what 10,000 would be. That probably would have been the smarter choice. They can't play it at Soldier Field because the Bears play the Packers Sunday at Soldier Field. So then what are the next options for this? You could have gone to Indy, perhaps, and played at Lucas Oil. You'd have to check and see if the Colts were home or not. But that would have been 70,000 Buckeye fans at that game. Or you could have just swapped it and say, hey, next time out, we'll play Ohio State. Well, the next two Ohio State Northwestern's games are going to be at Northwestern. Those are probably the three options, and maybe any of those options would have been better than playing in Wrigley. If you take the issues aside, which I know is tricky, I do think it's going to look cool to play this game at noon at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Wrigley's a historic site. I think it's magical for sports fans, but yeah, I'm looking at an end zone that goes into a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that's something you're going to have to coach for, because if you're throwing a corner out in the end, the back of the end zone, you don't have much clearance between brick. I've been against doing football games at baseball stadiums, doing football games anywhere but where football should be played forever.
Yeah.
I understand the novelty of this. I hope it doesn't become an issue to where it was a couple of years ago at a bowl game. They had to just cut it to 50 yards, and they would just go in one direction because, again, brick wall. And
dude, I'm looking at this. 11 Warriors as an image. There's no room on the right sideline. So it goes from like home bench.
You're going left to right on your radio dial.
Yeah.
The right end zone is brick.
It's brick.
So I would imagine because it's a professional baseball stadium, you'll have dugouts that could hold the kind of, that will be able to hold everything like that. I don't imagine being a problem because they've done this for, it feels like, more than a decade at Wrigley. And you'll have your contingent of Ohio State alum that live in the Chicagoland area, and so it'll look very scarlet at Wrigley. So the views you get on the Big Ten Network are going to be beautiful.
We got beautiful pictures. Reese, we're making beautiful pictures.
I'm trying. You can only paint this turd so many shades of gold.
Dude, you know what this is? Fellas, think what this is. This is a branch off the same conversation we had for the first 30 minutes of the show. This is Ohio State being a novelty because they will sell it out. That's what this is.
Also,
how many games this year did Northwestern play at Wrigley?
Is this their second?
I don't know. I'm not following them weekly.
Also, if you're looking at the sidelines, are they going to all be on the same sideline? Because it does feel like the team closest to the bleachers.
I like your idea.
Very tight.
Put them in the dugout. Make them real pros.
Fourth quarter, have Devin Brown come out in the bullpen?
Exactly.
This is I'm pretty sure this is the first game Northwestern's ever played at Wrigley. I thought I heard Wagon saying that earlier.
Sure.
All right, let me just pull this up. How many have they played there earlier this year?
I'm looking. I mean,
All right, here we go.
I don't know.
Not
again,
that it even matters.
if you're going to have a game, if you're going to insist, have it at the Rector Set on the lake.
All right, here you go. Northwestern will return to Wrigley Field for the 2023 season. So this was last year. They played a Big Ten West showdown against Iowa. Oh, thank God. Thank God we had that one. Who could forget it? I mean,
Was that the one with the hole in the middle of the field?
So I think this is the first time this year they've played there.
By the way, the Colts are on the road, so you could have had it at Lucas Oil and branded it as the last time Northwestern will ever play in Lucas Oil Stadium.
Hope you enjoyed those Big Ten championship games, boys. You're done with them. No, look, you worry about, in all seriousness, I would be concerned about the safety of this. I know that they've done it before, but man, it's a little different to play Northwestern Iowa than to play the number 2 team in the country there with a month left in its season. That's very different things in terms of the risk. So that part is there. It will make a great bunch of images to see the scarlet and gray in that place. There's no question that'll be cool. We'll hear from Ryan Day on it. I'm curious what he had to say because Austin was very strong yesterday when he had us on that he thought this was utter nonsense. So I'm curious what Ryan thinks of it. He's going to have some comments on noon too, but as a football coach, he's just...
Yeah, I don't know how much
play
you
the
get out
games
of
when
him.
the games are.
Where are we playing? What time's the kick?
Yeah.
Let's go.
And I think they probably love noon because other than the recruiting side of it, because they can just wake up and go play football. So you'll hear his presser at noon. Buckeye Roundtable is tonight at 6. Ryan's going to join that at 6:33. Then, of course, the Ryan Day Show right here at the Fan at noon. Team 126 moved to 2-0 last night. They beat Youngstown State at home. I don't know if Junie Mobley's going to miss a shot all year. He just might be. And everyone has told us this, that this kid can stroke it. And he can. He's unbelievable when it comes to shooting a basketball. It was Youngstown State, so there's not a whole lot to take from it. But to get to 2-0, they are ranked. It's a nice start for Jake Diebler's team. Speaking of Jake, he weighed in on John Mobley and the start that he's off to.
We're turning it over too much, but I don't want us to play safe. But we need to value the possessions a little bit more. What's been really impressive about him is how our team has embraced what he can do for us. And that takes a great deal of maturity because clearly he's out there playing confident and free, and he has a mentality where he is wired, to score, plays with a great deal of confidence. But I think what's equally impressive is how our team has embraced that. And it's really important for us, and it's going to continue to be.
You're probably out there going, Bo, how much television talk are you going to do? And then I looked at when Ohio State basketball plays next. 9 o'clock.
Yeah, not
Friday
great.
night. So they played Texas at 10 on a Monday, and now on a Friday night at 9, they're hosting A&M. Or they're at A&M.
They're at A&M. It's on the SEC network.
They're playing great games. They're just played in absurd time slots. Monday night at 10, Friday night at 9. Sucks. Speaking of sucks... Yellowstone, Season 5, Episode 9. It is back after a 2-year hiatus. All sorts of drama behind the scenes. We always do our Yellowstone reviews. We'll do them on Tuesdays this week. Reese went to great lengths to make sure he could see it. That is coming your way next. The Real Truth coming up at 10 o'clock. Will 4 Big Ten and 4 SEC teams make the college football playoff? It's all ahead. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey guys, it's D. Miller. If you're not feeling upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. That's right, it affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. But we're not all the same. So don't go for TRT referred to as a standard dosage plan. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan, like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. They provide advanced therapy and have over a decade of experience. So go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Listen, you've been making house payments for years, right? And right now, your home's value has never been higher, right? That means you're likely sitting on a small fortune in equity. Good for you. That's cash you could use to help secure your retirement, solve all your financial burdens, enable you to travel, everything you want. The catch is, you're not ready to move. No problem. You don't have to with the TrueHold Sell and Stay Leaseback program. This is a genius financial strategy. You sell your home to TrueHold while its value is high. You bank all that equity in cash now, and you can stay as long as you like with an easy, affordable lease. And TrueHold pays property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a TrueHold offer now while your home's value is sky high. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out without moving out. TrueHold.com.
If you're looking for an Affordable Care Act health insurance plan, you have good timing. It's the open enrollment period, and there's an easy way to search: Health Markets. At healthmarkets.com, you can see a list of ACA plans available to you in your area. If you have questions, or when you're ready to choose a plan, there are licensed insurance agents ready to help you apply. See how easy it can be to find your next health insurance plan at healthmarkets.com. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts.
Jake Diebler and the Buckeyes travel to College Station, Texas to take on Texas A&M.
I got courtside seats. I'm in.
Live fan coverage starts Friday night at 8. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo woo woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a...
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never...
And the sound then goes yip yip woo woo woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
the unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex, the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows. The official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
FX's Grotesquerie.
This killer is someone who knows anatomy.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
Detective, you have an entire family murdered.
Niecy Nash Betts.
The monster is out here.
Courtney B. Vance.
God knows what darkness we let in.
And Travis Kelsey.
There's no future after this.
FX's Grotesquerie. All new Wednesdays on FX. Stream on Hulu.
Attention football fans, the season's heating up, and that means it's time for jaw-dropping plays, spectacular touchdowns, and memories that'll last a lifetime. So if you're looking to grab the best seats for all the excitement, Vivid Seats is your go-to playmaker. With an incredible selection of tickets and a game-changing rewards program, Vivid Seats is your ticket to every thrilling moment. Don't miss out. Experience it live with Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Oh, baby. This show took off during COVID. And there were, I think, a season or two in the bank already, and then there was a new season in the can, or at least one season in the bank and a new season in the can. And so people discovered this show, I think in large part talking about Yellowstone, because it was shot so extraordinarily well. And it gave you these views of the West and Montana and all of it. And it's led to this incredible boom in popularity of the state, housing prices that don't even make sense. There was a time a couple of years ago where it was more expensive to buy in Bozeman, Montana than it was in Manhattan per square foot. That is real. Now, that don't make any damn sense, but That's the reality of it. So I think it benefited from all of those things, and it was a phenomenon. It was 15 million people watched this per week, and so it was something that became a cultural phenomenon, and we talked about it a lot. We would do our Yellowstone reviews. So we will keep those going. This is the end of the series, so we'll keep those going. We'll do them Tuesdays at this time slot. Reese you had a negotiation with Hulu to make this happen. This is what a team player Reese is.
Well, so I've spent so much time on this damn show, I needed to finish it out. And I'm not going to say I guess I'm not the beneficiary, but the opposite word for beneficiary. I'm the victim of a government crackdown on bad boy streams.
They're coming
because the streams are drying up.
They're coming.
So
They're coming for you.
I did manage to pick it up. I am now a Hulu subscriber, which I never thought I'd say. But yes, that does give you Paramount, the network, which is the only place you can watch the second part of the 5th season of Yellowstone. The rest of them are available on Peacock and on Paramount Plus, but only the new episodes are available per your streaming service or if you have regular cable.
All right, let's hit it. Here we go. Best storyline, Reese. What do you got?
When Beth was smoking and drinking while doing community service, just on the side of the road, chiefing heaters, picking up beer cans and putting them in there. I think the sheriff's marshal says, if this catches on fire, I've got to put you in jail.
Yeah, that's right. Just so we're clear, and there will be some spoilers here, the best they could do, of course, the cloud over this was Costner and Taylor Sheridan, the creator, not being able to find a way for Costner to finish the series. So what they did is, the most absurd thing ever for this character is they had him commit suicide in the first scene off screen. They had him commit suicide, which doesn't fit at all. And just so we're clear, their idea here is, and this is what they're trying to pass off as believable, we are going to mock a suicide for a sitting governor of Montana who owns one of the 5 biggest ranches in the continental United States, who would never do this, and there's absolutely no history of mental health. They even talked about it. Also, we can build a ski resort in Paradise Valley. That's what we're doing here, just so we're clear on all of it. So I think the best storylines when they go to Texas, because that's really what the show is all about. But I think when they go to Texas, that's my favorite part of this. I think the Montana stuff's an absolute mess. Best scene, Reese.
Well, so it's when Rip told those dirty hippies, you want a horse, go buy one. Yeah. When he agreed to have that kid pet the horse, and he's like, 2, it's a petting zoo. You want a horse, go buy it.
He goes, 1, you're being nice. 2, it's a petting zoo.
This ain't no damn petting zoo.
This ain't no
and there's a lot of scenes and quotes that we can't say on these airwaves.
Yeah.
But to your point of Montana and Texas, I will get to that later in this review.
Yeah. I think the best scene for me was the roundup in Texas, because many of the roundups that I've done have been on the plains of Montana, like not in the mountains at all, but rather in the plains. And it reminded me very much of that, just a windswept tundra, and it's hard, but it did remind me a little bit of my youth. So it was probably my favorite scene is when they were getting the cows to the water after the long trek from Montana. All right, moment that I wanted to move to Montana, Reese.
So when they're doing the driving montage, taking the cattle from the Yellowstone Ranch to the 4 6s?
4 6s, yeah.
The Montana scenery, Montana porn was so good. And it has been really through the entire season and the series, and that is part of why it makes sense that land prices in Bozeman went up, because who wouldn't want to live out there when it looks like that?
Yeah, they do some of those big wide shots, those drone shots they do when they go over a mountain range. Are just stunning. It's gorgeous.
Great. And then you juxtapose awesome. That with Texas.
Yeah.
Flat as hell.
Yeah.
Texas looks awful.
The moment I wanted to move to Montana is when it was juxtaposed with West Texas. West Texas, and I got
buddies who... May.
Holy hell. West Texas just looks bleak. Absolutely bleak. When they're doing that thing where they are having to have a campfire, but they can't have a campfire, because it'll burn up. God, that's got to be.
Just go to the bunkhouse, Rip.
Oh my God, Rip, go to the. What are we doing? You have to prove you're a man. Go be in a bunkhouse. They're not going to charge you for it. You don't need to be in a teepee on that plane. There's no place to even get shelter. Uncle Bo, Montana fact checker. That is not the Montana governor's mansion.
What is that? It looked like it's just a southern plantation.
Yeah, I don't think it's that doesn't look like architecture that's in Montana at all. So that is not the governor's mansion in Helena in any way, shape, or form. My guess is in order to save money, they shot a lot of this series this year in Texas to avoid having to pay certain things to film in Montana, because that is 100% not the governor's mansion in Montana. A couple other things. One thing they do really cool is they really do the Cowboys stuff right. So those horses that they show with doing the reining and all that, those are real big-time show horses. Taylor Sheridan owns several of those. Corey Pounds, who's the ranch hand who helps him right away, he is a world champion reining guy, horse trainer guy. He's a real guy. And Billy Klepper, who makes the spurs and the bits and the bridles, all that. That's a real dude, too.
Subtitles for that interaction.
I couldn't understand. I had to watch it a second time through. But what I will say about Klepper is I was aware of his spurs and bits as a kid. Like, if you had Klepper spurs, they were very rare. You never saw them in Montana, but it was something that was always coveted. So when that name popped up, I was like, oh, Eureka, I know exactly what that's all about. And they get the Cowboy stuff right. What you see from a Cowboy standpoint is on point for how it really is. Episode grade, Reese?
It's a C.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was incoherent. I mean, the big plot with Dutton is completely incoherent. I think that there are very good scenes in this, but the storyline is completely lost. So I think it's probably a D. I'm going to finish watching it because it looks cool and it's pretty and they have the Cowboy stuff right, but the storylines are nonsense. Who won the episode?
Jimmy. It was nice to see him, and he looked. It was. So everything around him, like when Teeter has that line to the other Yellowstone Cowboys about their affinity for Jimmy. I can't say any of it on the air, but that was really great. So anytime Jimmy was on screen, it was entertaining.
Just so we're clear, I wrote that too. Jimmy went from meth head heading to the Montana State Penitentiary to like the right-hand man for one of the biggest reining cutting horse operations in Texas. That happened in like 3 years. So yeah, and he's like engaged to a doctor. So, yes, he's winning about as big as anybody can win.
Also, how long does it actually take to drive from Montana to West Texas?
I would say it's got to be 2,500 miles or something like that. I would think it would be like a 4-day drive. But he's in a Ram diesel truck so he could go 75 miles.
My guess
an hour.
is that can move even with a horse trailer.
And once he gets out of Montana, it's kind of all downhill. There's not a whole lot of climbing mountains once you get out of Wyoming. I'm guessing you would go probably through part of Colorado to cut over to go east is my guess. It still looks pretty. They have great lines. There's some funny stuff, but the main story arc is just completely incoherent. We'll hit the real truth coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan.
Tickets for the 2025 Memorial Tournament presented by Workday are now on sale with special offers only through December 5th. Walk the rope line. Witness iconic shots by golf's best. Join the crowd roars. The experience is yours and it's second to none. Be there May 26th through June 1st. Take advantage of best ticket pricing and waived fees now through December 5th. Visit memorialtickets.com today.
APCO, windows, siding, and decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Hey, it's Anthony. Happy Honda Days are at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich tells me they're going to help you celebrate your new vehicle with 0% APR up to 72 months on select 24 and 25 models with no payments for 90 days. And leases starting as low as $249 a month. Germain Honda of Dublin, where you'll get same-day service, no appointment necessary. See the dealer for all these amazing details. Strike now at Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
For a limited time at Speedway, get 2 big pizza slices and your favorite Coca-Cola 20-ounce for only $5 with Speedy Rewards. Choose from Classic 3-Cheese, Pepperoni, or Extreme Meat Pizza. Save big with the $5 meal deal with Speedy Rewards. Only at Speedway. Valid through 1/7/25. See app for full terms.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NFL put a bow on Week 10 last night in Los Angeles. The Dolphins beat the Rams 23-15. Earlier today, the Bears fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Chicago's 4-5 following a 19-3 loss to the Patriots over the weekend. That was their third straight loss. Week 11 begins Thursday in Washington. The Eagles will host the Commanders. In college football, number 2 Ohio State's a 29.5-point favorite, playing Northwestern Saturday at noon at Wrigley Field. Ohio State's head coach Ryan Day will speak with the media at noon today. We'll carry those comments live on the Fan when he takes the podium. Coach Day will also join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 for a special Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. In college hoops, the 12th-ranked Ohio State women's squad hosts Charlotte tonight at 6 o'clock. Maddie Andrews will have the call over on ESPN Columbus. That'll be pregame coverage at 5:45. This update sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, just got this from Fish. Apparently, there are still some limited tickets for tonight's gala at High Bank, benefiting Brady's cause, Brady Quinn's cause tonight. We can't wait for this. It's going to be awesome. There's still some limited tickets available. They'll be available until 4 o'clock. The live show is tomorrow, and we encourage you. We will be there, and we encourage you to join us. Look forward to seeing all of you. You can buy those barrel picks at either of those times. And so look forward to seeing everybody tonight and again tomorrow at High Bank in Grandview on the program. One other thing that I just had to button up on this Yellowstone thing was like this. Anybody, I should have had this in Uncle Bo Montana Fact Checker. You cannot build a ski resort in Paradise Valley. There's not enough snow. Full stop. There's no place to do it. So, like, Paradise Valley is actually pretty they shoot the show in Darby. That's where the ranch is, which is western Montana. And Big Sky, you can. That's a bowl inside the Rocky Mountains. But Paradise Valley is on the other side of that, and there's not enough snow at all to build a ski resort there. So the whole idea of kill him for all of these things makes no sense because you couldn't do it there anyway. All right, time for the real truth. Hit it, boys.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
Also, did I miss at the end of the first half of season 5 with the oil pipeline?
I had no idea what that was about.
Okay, because I just all of a sudden you see rainwater and he's like, "Oh, this is the hill we die on." I'm like, what happened here?
I think that I think Sheridan's got so much going on and so many series that he just abandons. And I think that these aren't the droids that you're looking for with scenery and cowboy stuff. So they just show you that and don't worry about the storyline. We're going to have some funny dialogue and it's going to look pretty. That's my thought.
He had so much to do. His character could only make a small cameo. He couldn't meet Rip at the ranch.
No, he couldn't. He had too much going on.
All right, real truth time. 4 Big Ten and SEC teams, 4 of each, will make the college football playoff. Is that the real truth?
I would bet my children's college educations on this. That, yes, this is the real truth. The 4 Big Ten teams, I see almost... Indiana is not going to lose to Purdue. That's all they have left. They got Ohio State in 2 weeks and Purdue. They're not going to lose to Purdue. They're way too good. So they're going to go in at 11-1. I think the Buckeyes could lose one more and still be more than fine. Penn State, there's nobody on their schedule, and even if they lost another one, I think they would be fine. And Oregon is fine. In the SEC, there's going to be one. It's possible. It's possible that the SEC could get there with 4 2-loss teams, and they very likely will at least have multiple 2-loss teams. I also think, and I heard Rothman and Ice talking about this yesterday in regard to Oregon or Georgia, and I'm with AR. If Georgia were to lose to Tennessee close and win out, I think Georgia's going to get in. They're going to get in because they're a big, big brand. They're going to get in because they're really talented, and they're going to get in because they played a schedule unlike anybody in the sport this year. You can remember this, guys, on this. If you can find a way to justify a big brand, they will. So it's pretty easy to justify Georgia. So, yes, 4 of each are getting in.
I guess. I still kind of think that Indiana's reputation, if they get bombed by Ohio State, will snap like a twig. I think that people are still, and the committee themselves, who have Indiana currently 8th. But the problem is, I don't see how you have 2 ACC teams in there when every single team already has 1 loss and somebody has to lose the conference championship. So I can't really put together a scenario where Indiana gets left out, even if Ohio State does run them off the field. So I have to say, yes, that is the real truth.
If Miami would have stayed undefeated to the SMU game, then you could have had some ACC asking for a second. Sir, can we please have our porridge? Give us 2 teams, sir. Please, give us 2. But now...
Could I interest you in a, would be 2-loss Colorado team? I guess it'd be 1 loss going into the Big 12 title game, and they lose to BYU.
Well, they have 2 already.
They have 2 already, but they have 1 in conference.
Yeah.
So they go to the Big 12 title game, and then they take a 3rd loss, but it's close to SMU, or to BYU, I should say. Would they look at the record for Colorado and they look at Deion Sanders, Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, and say, we'd like that part of our college football playoff?
I don't think so. I don't think that you can. I know where you're going with that. Here's the other side of that, Reese, is where I think it could happen. BYU undefeated to the Big 12 championship game.
Yep.
Colorado wins out, beats BYU close. BYU's only loss is to Colorado close. Then you could see 2 Big 12 teams. But that only happens if Cole's part happens where Indiana gets bombed. To answer both your points, because you're headed in the right direction, BYU, Colorado, Miami, SMU, all better brands than Indiana. That's just the truth. So that's where you're at on this. But I think it would take BYU losing closely to Colorado, and it would take Indiana getting bombed here in 2 weeks.
In case you missed it, the Cleveland Cavaliers are 12-0 following their 119-113 win over the Bulls last night in Chicago. This Cavs team can win an NBA championship. Is that the real truth?
Yeah. I tweeted this last night, and then I had somebody go, you can't watch one NBA Twitter, man, they come at you.
Oh, no.
Guy goes, Bo, I love you, but you can't watch one NBA game in November and make a proclamation like that. I'm like, well, I just did. And I've actually watched them. I watched them play in person. I probably watched parts of most of their games to this point because, quite honestly, they're as much fun as you can watch. They move the ball. They spin it. They're completely unselfish. They absolutely can win a championship. They have a legitimate lights-out backcourt. They have depth in length. They have a bunch of guys who they bring in who could shoot it. And they've got 2 stud bigs who can defend in Mobley and Allen. So, yes, they can win it. They're not the favorite. Obviously, the favorite's Boston. That's fine. I'm not saying they will, but can? Yeah. And they should be held to that standard. They should be held to the standard of go make the Eastern Conference Final and make it interesting with Boston. That should be the standard.
That is not the real truth because I am a firm believer that you have to make it really far in the postseason and lose before you can make it really far in the postseason and win. They have not eclipsed the conference finals yet. I believe they were a second-round exit last year. So they can make it really far, but there are steps that you got to take, and a lot of teams have done it. Denver did it. The Heat did it. And the Heat didn't even win the finals. But, actually, if you want to go all the way back to the LeBron Heat, they had to go to the finals and lose before they could go to the finals and win. So they're just steps that you got to take to it. And so if they won the championship, I do think they would be an anomaly, and I'm not banking on that.
I think they can win it. I think right now, in November, you can make the proclamation because the injury bug hasn't hit like it has some other teams in the East. because some other teams in the East are still just trying to get their legs under them. But to Cole's point, I do think that this would need a little bit more. They need to be a little bit more calloused before they can make a legitimate finals run. And I'm talking NBA finals. Like Eastern Conference finals is still very much on the table. But again, it's November, so we can have the fun like this. Mike Vrabel is a better NFL choice than Bill Belichick for a head coach everywhere except Dallas. Is that the real truth?
I like this one. Everywhere except Dallas. I think Mike Vrabel is a better choice than Bill Belichick everywhere, including Dallas. I think Mike Vrabel, Tennessee sees what. I mean, can't we just look at Tennessee and see what happens? Mike Vrabel should be the A1 for everybody. I understand the accept Dallas part for Belichick because, quite honestly, I thought if this went off the rails as it has and Dak were to stay healthy, could they pivot off of McCarthy right away for Belichick? But Jerry doesn't like admitting he's wrong. He kept Jason Garrett for how long? A decade? So, he doesn't like admitting he's wrong. So that's why that hasn't happened. I think I think both of these guys would be fine in Dallas. I think Mike's going to have his pick of the litter. I think what I'm curious about on this is, if you are, he is in the building in Cleveland. Vrabel is. He's in the building. So, do you let him leave or do you find a way? I don't know. And I don't, I think he could be like what he was in Tennessee, like a 10-year hire, and this is who we are. Much the way that Mike Tomlin is in Pittsburgh. That's what Pittsburgh is. It's that team. And there is a standard to it. Look at the teams who could have new coaches next year. Obviously, Jets. In the North, probably nobody in the North. In the AFC South, Jacksonville. In the AFC West, nobody. NFC East, Cowboys, Giants. NFC North, Bears. NFC South, Saints. Nowhere else. NFC West, none of them. So if you're Vrabel, what did I have? I gave you Chicago, Dallas, New York, Jacksonville, and the Jets. If I'm him, I'd go to Chicago. If it's those five, that'd be my pick. Give me that talent.
Yeah, out of those ones that you just gave us, I would probably be inclined to say them as well. In regards to what Reeser brought to the table, I think Dallas would be the absolute worst fit for Bill Belichick because you would have two guys who have experienced a lot of success in life, are both really old, and probably both think that they know everything. How in the world would those two fit? Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones.
Now, he did it before with Bill Parcells. And they won a little bit.
So that's where I think it might.
Oh, you mean Jerry and Bill Parcells?
Jerry and Bill.
Jerry hired
and
Bill
Vrabel
Parcells.
would not work, in my opinion.
But
I think you're
that
right.
was
Jerry
I think
as
that's a good
GM?
point out of you.
Bill Parcells was short-lived, though. Wasn't that like 4 years?
Yeah.
Which, I'm not saying Bill Belichick's going to coach for 20 more, but.
No, I think you bring up the right point, Reese. Go ahead with Vrabel versus Jerry.
Well,
I think
if you got Jerry, owner and GM, owner, president, GM, and he's doing the grocery shopping for Mike Vrabel, you give it a day, 2 days before Vrabel just tells him to go F himself. That's oil and water to me.
Yeah, I think you probably nailed that. And that's why, I think here's the thing, though, about the Cowboys. It's a little bit like, you guys seen the movie Catch You If You Can with DiCaprio? Do you know when he goes with Walken, who plays his dad, and they go into Chase Manhattan Bank, and he has DiCaprio act like he's a chauffeur, and he's like, why do you think the Yankees win so many games? And he said, everyone gets caught staring at the pinstripes, right? There's a little of that with Dallas. If you've not been down there, when you are in that town and you see that star and the uniforms and all of it, there's an intoxication that comes with it. They are the glamour franchise, and they are Big D. It's different than everywhere else. So that can make you go blind on what maybe you ought to do for Mike. But I'm with you. I think that would be oil and water. Like him having to answer to Jerry, and Jerry going like, no, trust me, this quarterback, this is the right quarterback. And you're going, well, wait a second. What do we do? This guy can't play. So there you go. All right. Coming up next, one of the things you just cannot say in a locker room, And it happened up in Cleveland yesterday. We'll have it for you. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Need a new health insurance plan? Don't feel like you have to search for one on your own. There's Health Markets. When you visit healthmarkets.com, you can speak with a licensed insurance agent in your area and get personalized recommendations. With Health Markets, you can feel confident you're choosing a health insurance plan that fits your needs and your budget. See how easy it can be to search for your next health insurance plan with healthmarkets.com. Visit healthmarkets.com today. Health Markets Insurance Agency, Inc. is licensed as an insurance agency nationwide except in Massachusetts.
Meijer knows that Thanksgiving is a time to come together, eat together, and share together. During the week of Thanksgiving, November 24th through the 30th, when you buy Meijer brand foods, our Simply Give program will feed up to 4 million neighbors in need. So when you bring that perfectly fluffed stuffing to the table, the cranberry sauce and green bean casserole, you're actually bringing more good to more neighbors. Let's bring more good to Thanksgiving with Meijer brand and Simply Give. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com for details.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. Here's something that ECO stands for that you did not see coming. Okay. Echocardiogram. I did not see that coming.
Get Eco.
ECO. Most people think if they call someone about their furnace or heat pump, some unscrupulous salesman is going to pressure them to buy a whole new unit, even if their old one could be repaired and give them years more service.
Get Eco.
ECO. Your heart starts racing and you're sweating and breathing funny and your echocardiogram just goes nuts. I'll say. As the guy who invented those hospital wristbands that always stick to your arm hair, I know a thing or two about echocardiograms.
Get Eco.
ECO. But call ECO and our team will explain all your options, what you can fix, how much it costs, and how that compares to a whole new system. And your echocardiogram? Nice and flat. I mean flat-ter. Actually, flat is bad. Don't worry, they didn't let me invent any of the medical stuff.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Bring the thrill of the stadium to your wallet with the Love My Crew checking account from Pathways, the only checking account that rewards you for being a Crew fan. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Billiards Plus has the area's best selection of pool tables, shuffleboard tables, poker tables, and more. Santa will be here soon, and there's still inventory in stock, so get yours before Billiards Plus runs out. Don't forget your grill, too. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Did you and your family lose Ohio Medicaid and need health coverage? Check this out. You may be eligible to enroll in a low-cost health plan at healthcare.gov. With the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov offers quality plans that cover doctor visits, prescriptions, emergency care, and more. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
November is an ideal month to plant trees in Ohio because the soil is still warm, which reduces the transplant stress. Plus, trees require less water in November than in the heat of the summer, allowing roots to grow in the cooler temperatures. When planting trees, keep these tips in mind. Select trees that are zone hardy for where you plan to plant. Avoid planting trees that produce slip hazards like fruits and nuts close to sidewalks. And don't plant large trees near or under utility lines. To learn more about the November tree planting, contact an ISA-certified arborist near you by going to trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org. Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Here's a look at that weather report. Dry today, dry tomorrow. Temperatures on the chilly side this afternoon. Highs in the lower 50s. Sunshine tomorrow, high 58. And then heavy rain on your Thursday morning, upwards of a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain possible. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
After putting up with Tom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey, it's your Uncle Bo here. And when dealing with the issue of erectile dysfunction, you're going to want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because, of course, erectile dysfunction is that intimacy destroyer. Research shows that men can draw apart from their partners when ED affects the sex life. The condition causes stress, anxiety, depression. Even worse, a man's partner can blame themselves when ED becomes a problem. And that's why you need to go see my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They practice better medicine. They're the leaders in treating men's sexual health issues here in Central Ohio and around the region. It's a terrible condition. You need real solutions to this thing. So here is what you do. You go see my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They have treatments that work where the pills and herbals fail, including success rates well over 90%. So schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town. Your initial visit is $99. Includes a medical consult, licensed medical provider, TNPSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. Now, if the test dose doesn't work, the office visit's going to be free, so it's a no-lose win-win for you. Give a call today. Get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com today. 2 locations here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard, near Medical Mile in Westerville as well. Yesterday was a pretty innocuous off-the-bye week Cleveland Browns availability day. Head coach Kevin Stefanski spoke. This is the start of the second half of the season. My assumption would be that the Browns now at 2-7 and in a spot to where you're not in the playoff mix at all, would now be trying to figure out who on their team can be part of their long-term plans going forward. So young guys, right? And we'll get to Kevin in just a second. So Kevin talked about quarterback and Jameis, and we'll get to that in a second. Then Jedrick Wills went into the locker room, former first-round pick out of Alabama. He was drafted in a draft where they had to have a left tackle. They did not get a chance to draft Andrew Thomas. He was already selected. They could have drafted Tristan Wirfs. They went with Wills. Wills was a right tackle at Alabama, and actually as a rookie was pretty dang good. As a left tackle. And it's been hit or miss and mostly miss ever since. He's battled injuries and so many other things. This is the comment that got most of the attention yesterday up in Cleveland. Here is Jedrick Wills on why he was benched versus the Chargers.
It was pretty shocking. I mean, I decided myself that I made a business decision not to play after the Bengals game, going into that Ravens game, because I was injured. And then the next week was when I received the news. So, I mean,
so you can think it. It can be the real truth, but you just can't say it. You just can't say you made a business decision because there are people you're playing with, Joel Bitonio, who knows what ailments he's going through, Wyatt Teller, Ethan Posick, DeJuan Jones, who took your job, who's dealing with all sorts of injuries. There is no such thing as healthy in the National Football League. It doesn't exist. So you can say, I don't feel right to play in a contract year. You can think, I don't feel right to play in a contract year and risk putting bad stuff on tape, so I'm going to sit, which is what a business decision is when he says business decision. You can think it. It can be the real truth. You just can't say it out loud. It's just a bad choice of words for Jedrick Wills. And it's one that took over the narrative around the Browns yesterday when in fact what Kevin Stefanski said about quarterback probably would have been the headliner. But it really was the Wills comments. Is it any more than that? Is there anything more to see in that other than a young player with a bad choice of phrase?
I think so. It did feel like the writing was on the wall for Wills at the beginning of the season. Like that he had kind of made business decisions to slow play his start into the 2024 season. And it didn't feel like at all during the course of the year, just because of how bad things had gone with the entire team, there was going to be any way they were going to bring him back. And then I feel like he just would, if he'd go back, he would choose his words better. But I don't know if that's if that's any indictment on anybody else necessarily in the locker room. But I also don't have a high opinion of Jed Wills anyway, and didn't after last season. So I don't necessarily know how I wasn't swayed at all. I'm like, this guy stinks. Get him off the team. Yeah. Now I think it's at the first opportunity you can, because I think what's the dead money that they've got on him, because he's not coming back.
No. And
do you cut him tomorrow?
Right? If they were gonna, they probably would have done it yesterday. They won't, because there's a lot of reasons they won't. And I'm going to give him a little bit of grace on this for saying something out loud that you should have just kept in your head. I'll give him a little bit of grace on that. I'm not going to burn him for it. I think that they would have liked to see if he could play a little right tackle, which is what he played at Alabama. They might have liked to see if he could play a little bit of guard and be a solution there on the offensive line. But they are committed to Dewan at left tackle. So that part isn't going to change. It was just a matter of, is there another place for him to play? There's no availability up there today. So the next time they'll have availability will be Wednesday, and Stefanski will be asked about it. So that's where you stand on that. I thought the bigger headline was what Kevin Stefanski said in regard to Jameis Winston. So he was asked if Jameis Winston was still the starting quarterback. Here's what he had to say.
Just to make sure, Jameis Winston's still the starting quarterback?
Yes.
The duration or week to week?
Yes. Duration and week to week.
So duration means the rest of the season. Week to week means week to week. But that I thought was very noteworthy. He was asked about if they thought about going with DTR. Here's what Kevin Stefanski had to say about that.
I think with all of our players, we're going to always look at what we're doing and see what type of what decisions we want to make. But we feel really good about all those guys in there.
So this is the way that I would read this from the Jameis standpoint. Jameis is incredibly popular up there. Jameis is a lot of fun to play with because he gives you chances down the field to make plays. And he's obviously a very competent NFL quarterback. He's got 100 starts. Look, he's going to throw the ball to the other team. He's done that in his career. Everybody knows that he kind of is what he is on that side of things. But he also is an incredible leader. He's a passionate guy. And I think one other thing Kevin said in the press conference yesterday is we want to win. We want to win every week. And Jameis gives them the best chance to win. So this is where you get in a tough spot as an organization, where you have a coaching staff and players who want to win, because players are saying 2-7. Let's win this week, get to 3-7. Let's win next week, get to 4-7. Fans and perhaps front office are saying we need asset accumulation. We gotta hit on some picks. So this is where you get to that spot in an NFL season where what the coaches and players and potentially the front office want does not mesh with the long-term thinking of the organization and its fan base, most especially. That's where you're at up there. That's a tough spot to be, because I think, and I've said this a couple of weeks ago, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is the only in-house fix to their quarterback issue for next year, because he's already under contract. So even if Jameis plays well this year and you want to bring him back for next season as a potential bridge, let's just pretend, to get back to Deshaun in November, even if you wanted to do that, I don't know financially if you can, because of the cap situation that they're in. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is the only in-house fix to the quarterback problem. That's it. Because Watson, even if he comes back healthy, that's not until a year from now. That's 9 games into the season. And then he's going to have to ramp up. So, I mean, you can't go into a season that way.
But if you're in a position like the Browns are in right now, you're not winning games with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You might have a chance to beat the Saints with Jameis Winston on Sunday.
You can also evaluate your players better, your receivers. You've seen what happened with Cedric Tillman the last 2 weeks with Jameis. The other thing you're getting Jameis going back to New Orleans. So you desperately want to win a game, and now you get an inspired Jameis in New Orleans. Like, I get it. I get that side of it, and that's probably the way that this thing will play out. We'll do a little Tuesdays with Tiberi coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
It's fall, and Giant Eagle is your one-stop shop for all your traditional fall festivities. From pumpkin-flavored everything to the actual pumpkin and all the tools to carve it, Giant Eagle is the place where all your fall activities start. Deals for days means tons of discounts on all your favorite tailgate items, snacks, and everyday essentials you need for your Halloween party. Featured items will only be available at these amazing prices for a limited time, so don't miss out on Giant Eagle and Market District's Deals for Days for all the deals for fall. Visit your local Giant Eagle or Market District today.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing,
Listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Morning Juice.
The last time you won MLS Cup, you didn't even make the playoffs for 2 straight years. But at least you got to the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, it is a very disappointing end of the season.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get...
It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet Cheryl.
Hey.
She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
All right, here we go. It is a Tuesday with Uncle Dom. Hey, am I going to see you tonight? You locked in?
I'm planning on it. Yeah, I hope to get there. I hope.
Wait.
Now, do you have me a parking spot nearby?
You can have mine.
Okay, great.
You can have mine.
Where are you going to park?
I'm probably going to Uber.
Oh.
For fear of, take proper precautions.
Amen.
Yeah. So,
I'm planning on being there.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great.
I got to go to Nationwide Children's. They're doing the butterfly thing. It starts tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to go live down there tonight. And then, And I'm getting ready to go over and see Ryan Day. It's going to be a busy day.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Lots in the last 24 hours on noon games at Ohio State.
Yeah.
We were thinking potentially that Indiana could be a 3:30.
On CBS, I was hoping.
Of course. Loyal Channel 10 guy, as am I.
I only get one channel.
Same. So it wasn't. I kind of went over this off the top of the show that, like, this is the bed that Ohio State made with the Big Ten, and it is what it is. It stinks, but it is. Do you think, is there any way for Ohio State to, I don't know, lack of a better term, ask Fox and its partners to, hey, save a couple of games a year for us that we can play at night at home?
I think they should, and I think it's coming. Here's the bottom line, though. It generates a ton of money, and you've got all the partners, and television dictates. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, in today's world where you've got the transfer portal, the NIL, and where you're trying to make expenses and everything, I mean, this is the world we live in. And so I understand. I like night games. I like 3:30 kicks on CBS. But Fox put a lot of money up, and that's where they're at. It's to me, I agree with, I heard what you said earlier, and I agree. Ohio State needs to be a little bit of Brad Wesley.
Yeah.
They've got to say, hey, wait a minute. We're carrying this league, and I've said that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, now that you got Oregon in there, they're playing well, and if everything goes the way we think it's going to go, they're going to play them 2 more times. Big Ten title game, and hopefully for the national championship. I mean, how good would that be for the Big Ten if you got 2 Big Ten teams playing for the national championship, which I think could happen. But that's the world we live in. You know, there's a lot of things, and you and I have often talked. My question is, we are witnessing the professionalism of college football. We can agree with that.
Yeah.
We are witnessing the NFL, which has always had a free farm system.
Mm-hmm.
But now with the price of tea being what it is, when are they going to start paying up?
Never.
Well, they have to.
No, they don't.
They're going to have to.
They're not going to.
Well,
and they never will.
I mean,
they don't have to.
Well, I think there's a feud brewing, too. You see some of the stuff that's going on, playing games on Saturday and all this. It's going to be interesting how all of it shakes out.
If you think the NFL is going to play nice, just look what Roger Goodell did on the college football playoff first week.
I know.
He played Mahomes against Stroud, and he played the Steelers and the Ravens.
I know.
He said, you want to come in on Saturdays in December? How to like this? Good luck with your little games.
I know.
They're not playing nice.
I know.
So college football is going to have to fix this problem on their own when it comes to the money side of it. And there's plenty of money to go around. You just have to do it in a very different way than you've been doing it. I think the thing that's really hard for Buckeye fan is, and the Michigan game
but don't you think the NFL should pay something for their farm system?
No, I
don't. I do.
I don't. That's fair. I know that you and I disagree on that. We don't disagree on much, but we disagree on that. I think there's plenty of money to go around. You just have to run it differently than the way that you've been running it previously. The NFL benefits, there's no question, tremendously from getting ready-made stars. But I also think you're chasing ghosts if you think that. Well,
and you know what? And I understand what you're saying. And they are the big kid on the block. We saw what happened when Maurice Clarett challenged the one and done.
Yeah.
It was the NFL that appealed it in New York City, yes?
Well, the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
They're not losing there.
No. I mean, it's like.
No chance.
I mean, I don't know. I look at it this way. You see what Major League Baseball plays for a farm system. You see what the NBA does. You see what, if you want to play hockey, but these kids go to Canada and all this stuff that happens. And then here's the NFL, and they allow these colleges to go out and recruit the Jeremiah Smiths, make them household names around the country. There's nothing like the NFL draft. You've been to the NHL and everything else. I mean, okay, well, in 5 years, this kid may be
right.
I mean,
yeah.
But you see what they generate with the NFL draft and everything. And they come in every day. They look at the practice. They look at the films. They see these kids get developed. They're household names. And now they're actually getting paid in college, big money. And then they take your best players after 3 years, and they got nothing into it.
Here's what I would say the counter. This is how the NFL will view this. We're not telling you got to pay coaches $11 million a year. We're not saying you got to have 36 sports. Have 15. Hell, have one. Run it like a business. If you only have 3 sports that make money, then that's it. Have 3 sports. We're not telling you got to have 36 sports at Ohio State. You're choosing to have 36 sports. We're not saying you got to pay sports that don't make revenue, that you don't have to pay their coaches $1 million a year. You're doing that out of the goodness of your heart. Run it like a business. That's what the NFL is going to say, bud. That's why it's never going to happen.
And I understand that, but they got the greatest gig in America.
They do, but there's no changing it.
Well, things change. So, I never thought that did you ever think you'd see a day where players are getting paid $2 million? Did you ever think Did you ever think you'd see a day where coordinators are making $2+ million? I
did because in the last 20 years, college football became the second most popular sport in the country, and this brings us back to Big Noon. Television networks paid a premium to broadcast college football.
Yeah,
and in exchange for that, universities get a boatload of money. This deal that the Big Ten signed is 7 years, $7 billion, and you got to spend the money somewhere, and so. You can't just pay strength coaches $1.5 million and everybody $8 million and all this stuff. Like, it's free labor.
That's why I go back to your original thing about the Big Noon. They paid for it, so they got the rights. They get it. And do I like it? It makes a very long day for television guys because we got to be in there early and we're here on, everyone goes, well, the day's over. The game's done at 3:00. And no.
Not when you're hosting wall-to-wall sports.
Not when you're hosting wall-to-wall sports, not when you're doing the 11. So it's 14-hour days for these noon kicks. They're brutal. I love 3:30 kicks. I love night games, but and I think the fans do too. But this is the world we live in right now where
let me ask you
Fox
this.
paid all that money. They're going to get what they want.
What is your understanding from the CBS perspective? How many picks do you think Fox gets?
I don't know. I know
because it feels like it's disproportionate.
Yeah,
it feels like they get 8 picks to CBS and NBC's 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not privy to that. I just know that the landscape, they came in this year, CBS did, and you've got, at one point, I think ESPN wanted to take care of everything. And
sure.
The Big Ten, I give them credit, say, no, we're going to go, with like the NFL model. That model works. I think it's interesting right now, and maybe how long does ESPN have the championship game, the playoffs?
Well, they had it through 2026, but they exercised an option, I think, through the 2030s.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going anywhere.
So that's pretty sweet that they got that deal. So but can you imagine imagine when it opens up what it's going to be worth then?
Here's the thing though. When that happens, we have got to make sure that this league is being carried by somebody other than Ohio State and Michigan. Some of those other programs need to get going.
Oh, I agree.
And the problem is the 4 programs that we added are all West Coast teams, and they can't play at noon.
Right.
You can't play in Eugene at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And I know
you can't play at USC at 9 o'clock in the morning.
And the model they did when they did this deal, they were thinking about television market. They were thinking about household. They were thinking
That's
about
how they got into Rutgers and Maryland.
Well, yeah, they've got the biggest markets in America.
But the biggest markets, those 2 markets don't care.
Well,
Washington and New York do not care about Rutgers and Maryland.
You know what the Big Ten cared about? Getting that money from the cable box.
That's over now, though.
But it's with the streaming and everything. There's always going to be that number you're going to have to pay for. Just because you're in that market. And
I think that part's done. I think they blew it as big as you can blow it on Rutgers and Maryland. It all started there. You and I will remember this. They could have had Texas and Oklahoma in 2012-13. They could have had them.
I would have liked West Virginia and Pitt.
Well, that's better than Rutgers and Maryland.
I'll give you that. West Virginia is a fun, I don't know. You
can find some trouble in West Virginia.
Well, absolutely, sir. I was there.
You were.
I went there with a gentleman. I won't say his name. Now, you think about this. We went to a restaurant. We were down there when Ohio State, when Coop was coaching, and we go to the steak place.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, this is really good steak. So we went there. We're in Morgantown. And the gentleman goes, what's the fresh fish? We're in Morgantown, West Virginia. What do you mean?
Catfish. Can I interest you in a catfish?
I just looked and I said, what do you mean, what's the fresh fish? You want crappie? You want some bass? What do you think they got here?
You're in the middle of, come on, brother. We're a long way from
fresh water. Fresh fish? This guy looked at him like, We got some fish sticks.
I bet they do. All right, I'll see you tonight.
Goodbye.
All right, the great Dom Tiberi, Channel 10, joining us on the Brian Eating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, save big on 6 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties are just $2.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Create a safe sleep environment for your baby by using the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies are safest alone on their backs in an empty crib. Always place your baby on his or her back while sleeping, and be sure to use a firm sleep surface. Remember, room sharing without bed sharing is safest. For more information, visit childrenandyouth.ohio.gov/infant safe sleep.
Hey guys, it's Anthony Rothman. If you're feeling at a loss for energy or just not upbeat like you used to be, it could be low testosterone. That's right, it affects our moods. Testosterone therapy, or TRT, can help you get back to your best. But guys have different T levels, so don't go for a standard dosage plan. Look for TRT with an optimized personal treatment plan like you'll get with the experts at Low T Center. Do it now. Go to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The time to save big is now. It's Ford Truck Month at your local Ford dealer, and the time to buy is now. Make way for great offers across an amazing lineup of Ford trucks, featuring the built Ford Tough F-150 and Super Duty. Check out the versatile Ford Maverick and the capable Ford Ranger. But you can't wait. These limited Truck Month deals won't last. Check it all out at buyfordnow.com. Then get over to your local Ford dealer today. Hurry in, as these deals won't last long.
Have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets? We have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived. The only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com, and use promo code JUSTSPORTS to get a welcome bonus up to $100. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 or older and present in Ohio. If you or anyone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Humana, our Medicare Advantage plans give you coverage and care you can count on, along with guided support to help you feel your best. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options and choose a Medicare Advantage plan. You'll feel confident because you have plan options that fit your needs. You could have a plan with a $0 premium and even personalized care from a wide network of doctors, or all-in-one plans that may include medical and prescription coverage, as well as routine dental, vision, and hearing. When it comes to the benefits and support you need, Humana has Medicare Advantage plans made for your well-being and your wallet. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. As we head into winter, you don't want to be stuck with old drafty windows making your heating system work overtime. Universal Windows Direct is here to help you keep your house warm and save you money on those energy bills. And here's the best part. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, and there's no limit. On top of that, Universal Windows Direct is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply because they always do. Call them today, 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky's Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday edition. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Last week, Nebraska hired former West Virginia and Houston coach Dana Holgorsen to serve as an offensive consultant to Matt Rhule. On Monday, it was reported Holgorsen will call plays for Nebraska and serve as the offensive coordinator moving forward. Marcus Satterfield was the Huskers' OC. Rhule says Satterfield will remain with Nebraska this month and continue to coach tight ends. The 5-4 Cornhuskers haven't scored more than 20 points since a 28-10 win over Purdue in September. Nebraska's also dropped 3 straight, including its most recent contest against UCLA. They're at the 4-5 USC Trojans Saturday at 4 o'clock. Thing or not a thing?
Trying to see where, all right, Satterfield. So he was, before he got to Nebraska with Rhule, he was the offensive coordinator at South Carolina. Was his last big-time coaching job. Before that, he was an assistant offensive line coach at Carolina. So his rise, I guess, was pretty quick. He was a head coach at Tennessee Tech back in 16 and 17. So that's kind of the way the trajectory on this has all gone. Look, when I watched them play here, I thought it was one of the most cautious, pessimistic attacks I've ever seen. They would not let Raiola throw it down the field. Everything was sideline to sideline. Now, because of turnovers and various things that happened, it was almost enough where they could kind of spring the upset. But it wasn't fearless, and when you have someone like Raiola, I think what you're looking for is fearlessness. Holgorsen is an all-timer. Like, I don't know why he ever left West Virginia. Like, the marriage of him with that visor and that crazy hair comb-over thing that he had, like, running amok in Morgantown, and he did a lot. You never should have left there. He left to Houston to get a bunch of money, and that fell flat. I think this might be a decent Band-Aid on this for Nebraska, and maybe it gets him to the postseason. And I'm guessing Rhule is facing a lot of pressure to win one more game and get bowl eligible because they haven't done that in forever. So I think it's a thing.
I think it's a huge thing because I had really high hopes and kind of high expectations for Matt Rhule with his tenure at Nebraska. And we're already into this thing, and we got a guy who just got here a week ago is now your play caller and your offensive coordinator. Like, that is a really some sort of scarlet letter for Matt Rhule. I think he's a really good coach, but, man, this is not going the way I thought it was going to go. And to your point, Bo, talking about how they were so passive with their play calling, that's something that Matt Rhule really spoke about basically all week long leading into the game. And we played the cuts on this show, talking about how, like, hey, you're not going to go into Ohio State kicking a bunch of field goals and, punting the ball. Like, we got to really let our hair down. And for that to be the takeaway of the game is that they kind of clipped Raiola's wings. I'm not nearly as confident in the Matt Rhule era as I was. And I'm a fan of his, so I'm not happy about that.
This also goes back to our kind of overriding theme of the day, Reese. Nebraska, when they added them, they thought they were getting Oklahoma.
Yep.
They thought they were getting a team who could play at noon and carry ratings, and they've done nothing. That's contributed to playing Big Noon every week.
And that game against UCLA that they lost, so the Bruins could be bowl eligible before USC. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of nuts to think about. UCLA is at Washington Friday night at 9 o'clock on Fox, if you are so interested.
Back-to-back Fridays for them, by the way.
Syracuse fell to 6-3 after their 37-31 loss to Boston College over the weekend. During his Monday press conference, Fran Brown discussed his post-game ritual following a loss.
Honestly, I got like a ritual. Like when we lose, I ain't even getting a shower till early this morning. I just be mad. I just brush my teeth. But it's like I don't deserve soap. I don't deserve to do all that. I'm just focused on like trying to get back and trying to make sure that our players mentally understand and know that I let them down, that they didn't do it. I just wake up all night, especially when you lose. You like wake up like, damn, it really happened. It really happened that way. So it's just different pieces. And then I just move on. There's a process that I follow every week. Win, lose, or draw. Only thing is like my wife, I can't sleep in the bed if we lose because I ain't going to get in the shower for that day. I'm just mad and I just sit there. I just brush my teeth. That's what I have to do so y'all won't say my breath stink. But I'm just kind of locked in at certain things, certain ways. I think you gotta earn the right to do certain things. So, winners get washed. You know what I'm saying? I'm a loser. I just kind of waited a little bit.
Syracuse is at Cal Saturday on the CW network. A thing or not a thing?
So his idea of punishment is to be
living
in his own stench for a day? Like, that's winners get washed? Is that what he said? So he was an assistant at Georgia, and from a recruiting and portal stuff, like, he had a lot of early wins. By the way, they're 6-3. It's Syracuse. Like, that's pretty good. It did lead me to that's insane, by the way, that is your form of punishment, is to not wash yourself. Kyle McCord on the season, 31-53, 64% completions, 23 touchdowns, 12 picks. Sound pretty familiar? That's pretty much kind of where he was last year. Here, he's going to throw for more yards. They're throwing it a lot more, and certainly so his yardage numbers. But his completion percentage, his touchdown to interceptions, very similar.
Yeah, so now we know why he didn't tell Kyle McCord to hit the showers after his first 4 interceptions against Pitt, because doesn't deserve it. This is definitely a thing for his wife. In fact, that was the first thing that I thought of, and I raced over to Wikipedia before he even mentioned it in that cut, because I'm like, does he have a wife? Because 100%, there's no way she's putting up with that. So I got to say, of all the things that you could possibly take away and not be deserving of if you lose, that would not have been the first thing to come to my head. Because now you're just punishing everyone around you, too.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a phrase, soaps for winners.
Winners wash? Is that what he said?
Winners, something like that.
Winners get wash.
Winners get washed. Okay.
Niners kicker Jake Moody missed 3 field goals in their win over the Buccaneers. Deebo Samuel took exception to the poor special teams performance, confronting Moody on the field about it, looking to take a swipe at the neck of long snapper Tabor Pepper. Kyle Shanahan commented on it during his conference call with reporters on Monday.
I mean, after the game and stuff, I didn't think it was too big of a deal. But, after getting home and seeing it all on SportsCenter and everything and all that stuff, I wanted to make sure I did and talk to the guys about it, talk to a number of guys on the team, and we squashed it and we're good.
Thing or not a thing?
I'm going to say not a thing. I'm going to say would have been a huge thing if Moody missed the last one. Because if he missed the last one, then he's cut, and then you got all sorts of problems. So, look, it's emotional. Tyvus had a great line about this on Monday where he said, look, when you are a position player and you're looking at long snappers and kickers, you're saying you have one job. I got a dozen jobs. You got one. Make kicks. That's it. So that's where I think the frustration comes, because they don't even practice together. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but like NFL kickers and long snappers, they come in for one period and then they're gone. Like they're not there the whole time. So it's just a very strange setup.
That's a great life. But
it's an unbelievable life, and you can have it for like 15 years.
Yeah,
if you're a long snapper.
Yeah,
get your kids into long snapping.
If you're Vinatieri at like 25 years.
Yeah,
but I do think this is a thing, because I think this is emblematic of the 49ers record. They were 4-4 heading into this game, came out 5-4, and the 49ers have higher expectations than that. And obviously they've been beat up a lot. Injuries have played a factor into this, but this is a team that we had really high expectations for. And I think that's kind of letting the emotion show on national television that, hey, we're not as confident in this season as we thought we were.
All right, coming up next, final hour of the program, we'll blitz the league. Pay attention. Reese is on a heater unlike anything we've ever seen. I had a decent week as well. We'll blitz the NFL coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Snip, tuck, fold, crease, tuck tape.
It's not that complicated, Dad.
Wrap, crease, tape, twist tape.
Ohio Lottery scratch-offs make great holiday gifts. And play Holiday Bonus Millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize.
Fold, crinkle, fold.
Plus, you can enter non-winning tickets in My Lotto Rewards for a second chance to win up to 1,000 times the price of your ticket.
Please crinkle, gate, fold, ribbon, curl, sponge.
The best part, Dad? No wrapping required.
No tuck, fold?
No tuck, fold.
Give the gift of fun. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Ready to hit the road in a new car? With Pathways, enjoy up to 90 days with no payments and low auto loan rates. Learn more at pathwayscu.com. Pathways Financial Credit Union, your true financial partner. Federally insured by NCUA.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
APCO Windows, Siding, and Decks is a family company my dad started in 1962. We don't rely on sales gimmicks, so get multiple estimates. Just make sure one of them is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback. You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. Number 2 Ohio State's headed to Chicago to play Northwestern Saturday at Wrigley Field. Kickoff there is set for noon. Ohio State's a 29.5-point favorite in this one. Head coach Ryan Day will speak with the media around noon today. We'll carry his comments live on the Fan as soon as he hits the podium. Coach Day will also join Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and Jim Lachey tonight at 6:30 for a special Tuesday edition of Buckeye Roundtable. The College Football Playoff Committee will also reveal their second set of rankings and bracket projection tonight at 8:30. In college hoops, the 12th-ranked Ohio State women's squad will host Charlotte tonight at 6. You can hear that one over on ESPN Columbus. Maddie Andrews will have the call with pregame at 5:45. And in the NHL, the Blue Jackets look to end a 5-game slide. CBJ will skate in Seattle versus the Kraken. Face-off there is 10 o'clock. You can hear it on the Fan with pregame coverage at 9:30. This update is sponsored by Dormar Heating and Air Conditioning. Need an emergency repair? Dormar can be there today, guaranteed. Visit them at dormarheating.com.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie, and once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here, on a Tuesday edition of the program. Still getting a lot of stuff on the big noon. What I would recommend you do is we handle this, and we talked about it at length in the first hour of the program. Wherever you get your podcasts, click it, subscribe. Also, the YouTube stream, you can find it there. Kind of broke down how you got into this spot and where it is. Got one from NWO Buck. I don't think anyone is aware of why there's so many noon games for Ohio State. Oh, I think we're plainly aware of why there are. We're just tired of it, he writes. Look, yeah, but in simplest form, there's a lot of layers that get you to where you are, and we went over it at the top of the show. And the really only way out is maybe pleading for mercy from the power brokers at Ohio State and asking for some solids along the way. There's not a whole lot else you're going to be able to do on this thing, so you're kind of stuck in that side of it. All right, time to blitz the NFL. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present NFL Blitz.
Sponsored by Skyline. Skyline's new mac and cheese 3-way is only here for a limited time. Try it today.
Hold on, they're doing a mac and cheese 3-way?
For a limited time only.
That feels decadent. I think Bootsy could suck that down in about a second and a half.
Be a good way to coat your stomach before the Make a Difference Gala tonight.
That's right. But by the way, still time to get your tickets to that. Good job out of you, Reese. Still time. Some limited availability left. That goes until 4 o'clock. And then tomorrow we'll be at High Bank in Grandview broadcasting our show. Their doors open there. Adam's, it's going to be fun. Adam, I can have a great conversation about whiskey and all of it, so you have that to look forward to. He's the genius behind it all. And that opens at 9. Their food's incredible as well. So we'll be there 9 to noon doing the show tomorrow. I believe I had that in the NFL. What did you have, Cole?
I believe I had that the Texans made a huge mistake changing their uniforms in the offseason. I'm old now because I've learned that the best uniforms in sports are the ones that never change. The Texans had the same uniform since they inaugurated in 2002. They changed them this offseason. They looked horrible, and they blew that game, which we'll get to in a little bit. But that was just a horrendous sight. That red on red with the goofy little horn coming out of the side. Texans really messed up.
I think their blue and white ones they're minor improvements on what they used to be. I think the blue's a little darker. I think that part's pretty cool. I think the battle red would have been okay if they had a white pant. It was so much red. I mean, it was just overwhelming amount of it. You guys know the story on that, how they wanted to go with a light blue, and the Oilers ownership, the Adams family, said no, and the NFL stood by the Adams family because they wanted to add a light blue to it, and they said no. Reese, what'd you have?
I think I had a great many things. I went 11-3.
Crazy.
In picking NFL games. Bo, you were 9-5. We've picked 152 games this season. My record's 91-61.
It's nuts.
So I'm going to get a third mattress here shortly because I just have no place to put my extra winnings. I had the Jets and the Cowboys cooked. Like the Jets didn't need to get their asses kicked by the Cardinals to make me think they were cooked. They did. Similarly with the Cowboys, who are now spending a couple days bitching about sun glare.
It is stupefying what you're doing on the NFL side of things. It's absolutely crazy to be 30 games over 500. Enjoy it. Get the third mattress. Stack the cash, brother. It's an incredible run out of you. Look, I kind of had this. Good teams are good teams. Buffalo's a good team. So one of the things that I've done in the picks throughout this season is when good teams have reasonable spreads that they're giving up, go with the good teams, and Buffalo's a good team. The LA Chargers are a good team. Jim Harbaugh flips programs quickly, and he did it here too. So one thing to pay attention to in this second half, remember that good teams are good teams. I did not have what? What did you not have, Cole?
I did not have a team winning a game with 5 interceptions, so I'm staying in the same game, Sunday Night Football. And I guess you gave him some sort of kiss of death, Bo, because the last time I was on the show, I think you were talking about how Jared Goff was not getting enough love for MVP conversation. Yeah. He went out there and threw 5 interceptions, and they still won because the Lions defense buckled down and forced, I think, like 4 consecutive punts in the second half. The Texans couldn't move the ball in the second half.
Yeah, he had several games where he had more touchdowns than incompletions, and then inexplicably he went 15-30 with 5 picks. That's what Goff did on Sunday. Reese.
We had picked them at 3.5. And some of you lucky gamblers out there got him at 3, which I don't know if it's lucky, but you're not losing. We lost because we picked Detroit minus the 3.5, so I didn't have that. Also, it was bad Matt Stafford last night. I did not have the Dolphins going into Los Angeles and beating the Rams.
I didn't have that one either, but to try to not be redundant, I also did not have Atlanta losing at New Orleans. Like, are we going to be a serious team or not, Atlanta? Like, handle your business. At New Orleans, handle your business. They're terrible. That was an awful one, and that performance was awful. I didn't have it. Player who impressed the most, Cole, who do you got?
Reese, tell me, is 11 catches for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns pretty good?
Boy, that's really good, Cole.
Especially when he's on the fantasy team. Thank you, Jamar Chase.
I'm going to stay in the same game. Lamar Jackson with a near-perfect fourth quarter on Thursday Night Football. He wasn't great in the first half, but when he needed to be, he was.
I'm staying there, too. And you could go Burrow, you could go Chase, or you could go Lamar. Burrow was sensational. Chase was sensational. But I did want to give a little bit of flowers to Lamar Jackson and the season that he is accumulating, because this is a 2-time MVP, okay? He's going to win his 3rd MVP. Everybody who's won a 3rd MVP has also won a Super Bowl. So the clock is ticking on that. I don't know how to make sense of what he's doing statistically. Folks, he is completing 70% of his passes for 2,700 yards, 9.3 an attempt. The last 5 games, by the way, 11.3 an attempt. He has 24 touchdowns and 2 picks on the season. His last 5 games, he's got 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's going to win his 3rd MVP. But there's not a championship yet. So it's just the strangest thing. And he's a really tough guy to try to evaluate because he's the best regular season player in football. And it's not particularly close. Player who disappointed. Cole, who do you got?
I know that the word disappointed implies expectations, and expectations I did not have for Cooper Rush. But, dude, I mean, if you're an NFL quarterback and you throw the ball 23 times, you have to eclipse 45 yards. Are you kidding me? And those of you who are quick at math, that is less than 2 yards per attempt. That's unbelievably bad, even for a backup.
Yeah.
I don't know if disappointed is the right word for Joe Flacco, because you kind of got the Joe Flacco experience, 26 of 35, 272, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But I was disappointed.
I did have this one, but I did not have it going this way. On October 13th, the Chicago Bears beat Jacksonville 35-16. In that game, Caleb Williams was 23 of 29, 80% completions, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Here are his stats in the 3 games that followed, including the Hail Mary loss to Washington. 10 of 24, that's 41% completions, no touchdowns, no picks. 22 of 41 for 217, that's 53% completions, no touchdowns, no picks. 16 of 30 for 120 yards, 53% completions. His average yards per attempt, 4, 5.3, 5.5. They filed their coordinator. He was sacked 9 times in the game against the Patriots. 9. One of the beefs on him coming out of USC is he held the ball too long. And be wary of this with Shedeur, because Shedeur plays a lot the way Caleb played last year at USC. So this is part of what you get with that, is trying to make plays. He has been sacked in the last 3 games 18 times.
And
some of that's on you. Some of that's on you.
I think Matt Hasselbeck said on a Cowherd show that he counted 6 of them that were Caleb Williams' fault.
Yeah, it's on the player too. Bud Kilmer, honorary coach of the week. Who do you got, Cole?
I hate myself for starting to believe, but Mike Tomlin.
You should believe.
The schedule is starting to get tough. The Ravens, if we split with the Ravens, I think I'm in. I don't know what that all is going to mean, because I still, just out of principle, Chiefs in the Super Bowl, whatever, spoiler alert. But I'm starting to believe in going on the road and winning that one against the Commanders team, who I think is good. And I think a lot of us think is a pretty good team. It got a little hairy with the drop fake punt, which was a good call. He just dropped it. But pulling that one out, that was a big one for the Steelers.
I'm going to deviate from the past 9 weeks when I had Randy Reed. I'm going to give it to Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon, because he remembered they had the route man, and good things happen for them.
They're fun. They're really frisky. They're fun. They've got Kyler playing well, and they're atop the division, aren't they, at 5-4? Aren't they right there with San Francisco atop? So, yeah, they're legit. I just am a sucker for Dan Campbell. I mean, I don't know how you can't watch. They're down 23-7 at half, and they win. Like, their quarterback throws 5 interceptions, and they win. They are starting to feel, and I used this analogy a couple of weeks ago, they're starting to feel to me a little bit like the 85 Bears. Like, it's just so much I wish Aiden Hutchinson was playing for their fan standpoint, just because how great he is. But like, they got Zadarius Smith, they've got all this personality, they've got this coach who is so beloved. It just feels like it could be kismet this year for the Detroit Lions. Top 3, who do you got, Cole?
I'm going rogue because I'm tired of saying the same 3 teams every single week. Bottom 3 teams, and this list is actually really tough to put together. Cowboys, now that Dak is gone. If you lose to the Panthers, you're probably a terrible football team. The New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans.
How do you keep the Jets? I mean, the bottom, you might be right. Maybe we need to pivot and do bottom 3 every week. That's not a bad idea.
But the Jets beat the Titans this year, so I had to put the Titans in there. And the Raiders were close, but I'm being generous.
I want to send the Browns there as well.
They're close, too.
I mean, top 3, Chiefs, Lions, Bills.
Let's do this really quickly. We got about 45 seconds on this, because all right, Lions, Chiefs, Super Bowls, whatever.
Yeah.
The reality is this. Kansas City wins, but never impresses. Never.
And they probably won't the rest of the season?
No, it's not. I mean, did you see, like, Kareem was like 15 carries for 38 yards, but then he had 60 in the air? Like, they don't have a deep threat. Everything's underneath for Mahomes. They're not nearly as impressive as Detroit and the Ravens, but they're not as impressive as Pittsburgh's been. Buffalo, there's a lot of teams have been more impressive, but they win every week. So it's so strange how they don't look like themselves, but they're still winning. And at some point, I think it has to get them. Like, they won this week on a blocked field goal, for crying out loud. It's such a strange season for them. Hard to make sense of it. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. We said last week was a must-win. At some point, they actually have to win a game. Zach Taylor on the loss to the Ravens. We'll also take a look at the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers sit atop it. It's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo, woo, woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a thump?
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never.
And the sound then goes yip, yip, woo, woo, woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
the unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex, the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows. The official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
You're a man with a plan.
I know.
You'll propose to her on that family trip in front of everyone. Brilliant.
I know.
You know the trip is only a month away.
But I don't have a ring.
Luckily, there's GageDiamonds.com with engagement rings in every style for every budget with certified natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and moissanite.
Can I finance it?
Gage lets you buy the ring today and pay for it over time with our no credit needed financing.
Brilliant.
Yes, we are. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagements. Middle name.
Exclusions apply.
ABC Wednesdays.
Y'all can play all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want razors, too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with the new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there? Taking bribes? Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand. Listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Black Friday is here at your local Ram dealer. And right now, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4 for $499 a month for 42 months with $4,082 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-877-RAM-5722 for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 11/12/24.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
If a friend asks how you're doing, and you say,
I'm okay.
When the truth is,
I don't want my problems to burden anyone.
Or you say,
hang it in there.
Because
if I ask for help, they'll just think I'm weak.
Then this is your sign to call, text, or chat 988 for free, confidential support. Anytime. You don't have to hide how you feel.
November is an ideal month to plant trees in Ohio because the soil is still warm, which reduces the transplant stress. Plus, trees require less water in November than in the heat of the summer, allowing roots to grow in the cooler temperatures. When planting trees, keep these tips in mind. Select trees that are zone hardy for where you plan to plant. Avoid planting trees that produce slip hazards like fruits and nuts close to sidewalks. And don't plant large trees near or under utility lines. To learn more about the November tree planting, contact an ISA-certified arborist near you by going to trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Time now to get a look at that weather report. Beautiful out there this afternoon. Chilly with that brisk north wind. We're going to be looking at temperatures struggling to make it into the 50s. Cold tonight. Sweaters and jackets needed as we get down to around freezing. Sunshine on your Wednesday. A little bit warmer with highs in the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
The gloves. Shelley time.
Indeed it is, and we head to the West Coast for a little bit of Shelley time. Jackets have been on a bender. It has not gone well. They're at Seattle tonight at 10 o'clock, and we find it. So it occurs to me, this is an ESPN Plus game tonight, so when the guys were telling me that you were in transit or about to board planes, where are you and where are you going?
Oh, wait a second. We're airing it tonight on FanDuel Sports.
Oh, really?
So where am I going? I was just in Calgary last night doing a Monday night Amazon game. So I'm in Vancouver International.
Oh, lovely.
With John Forsland heading to Seattle for tonight's game. And then tonight, I get on a plane and I go to Pittsburgh for the TNT game tomorrow. So I'm staying busy.
You are a media mogul. So I pull this up. I'm on the NHL site, and I suppose just the FanDuel part is, so maybe ESPN Plus is picking up the game? That's got to be it.
I think that's how it works. Yeah,
okay, so ESPN Plus is picking up your game. Okay, so you're in Vancouver. Were you in Vancouver last night, or you're connecting?
No, I did the Calgary game last night.
Okay, connecting.
Calgary, LA, and then we had a 6 a.m. this morning, and now we're connecting through Vancouver to get to Seattle. So we should be there in a half hour. Wouldn't you think that flight is?
I think you could probably, as in good a shape as you're in, you could probably run and get there by puck drop. That's my guess. Hey, what was? Let's have a little fun first, then we'll get into the hockey, which was tough.
Okay.
What was the most memorable experience for you outside of the hockey on this Western trip?
Well, not very often you have 2 full days off on the road. So, with all the movement and all the action to start the season, it was nice to just relax for 2 days in Newport Beach, which is a beautiful area. You know what? Remember Larry Larson, the legend?
Yeah, of course, the legend.
I caught up with him for a couple hours, and he's great to talk to. He is so dialed in with the Blue Jackets, Ohio State football, college football. So we had a great sports catch-up with Larry, who's 81 years old and sharp as a tack. So that was tremendous. Other than that, probably the food. Some really good meals on this road trip.
Were you at Pelican Hill?
No, I didn't golf.
Okay. All right.
When
you said Newport, I thought maybe you were down there. All right.
Oh, yeah. No. We didn't make it that far. We were at Fashion Island. You know that area?
Yes.
Next to Balboa Island.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Beautiful place. The hockey has not been beautiful, unfortunately. We're now in a 5-game bender here. I was hopeful that with the Ducks struggling as well, they had lost 4 in a row, that maybe that is where you could get things flipped around. If you were to point to a couple of things on this road trip that have been the root of the results not being the way that we would want them, what would they be, sir?
It would be goal scoring. It would be generating offense. It would be getting the rebounds. Guys like Marchenko, they have that great shot, but that's taken away a lot of the time. And the way he wants to receive the puck and get the shot away. That depth scoring, it seems like it's kind of run out. And that's how they started. They were getting scoring from everywhere. The first 4 wins, they scored 6 goals in each of those games. Then they had the 2-0 victory over the Islanders, which was a really tight game. And then from there, lineup changes, Bronkoff back. They haven't been able to find that scoring touch. So you see a little bit of frustrations in games like the last couple where they put in really good efforts, and they're going to put in a good effort every night. But now there needs to be some polish on these moments in the game. So goal scoring for me is where they have to find. And a lot of teams in this situation are saying the same thing. How do you generate offense? Well, it's shots through, and it's getting the rebounds, and that's what they haven't been able to do here the past few games.
And this is you guys have been on the road now and I remember the last time because the way that these games have scheduled, I think you and I talked on Tuesday out in San Jose is kind of the way I remember it. But then you've been, we haven't talked since the Friday at Washington, and it's been, on the road the whole time, and you've gone all over the country. So you're in Seattle tonight, and then you're Pittsburgh on Friday. The team is in Pittsburgh on Friday. Then 2 more roadies at Montreal, Boston. When we saw this stretch, Jody, and you and I talked about it before you embarked on it, this is an ultra young team, and they're leaning on veterans as much as they can. But how do you make sure that a 5-game losing streak doesn't become who you are when you have this type of youth? Who are you leaning on to try to get this thing headed back in the right direction?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm looking at guys like Wierenski, first of all. He's that all-star player that's really dialed it up. I look for him to continue to play the way he's been playing. Provorov as well. Severson, I think, could take that step. So those guys on the back end. And then the leaders, Corrali, Monahan, Olivier. They got to keep the group together. The young guys like Sillinger now, who's, in his 4th year, they don't want to be a part of a losing environment. So I think that's the key here for these guys.
Do you have, what about for tonight, any changes that we'll see lineup-wise? Who's in net, those type of things for tonight?
Well, they picked up a young defenseman, Dante Fabro, former first-round pick from Nashville, and he's met the team in Seattle. I don't think he's going to play. He might play tonight, right-handed shot defenseman. I think Elvis will be in the nets. It's still practice is about 2 hours away, so
yeah,
we haven't had a chance to see much of that. But I think there'll be some changes. He did a good job changing the lines last game. I think that was a big. You saw some things you liked, but it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight.
I think I can tell by the tone in your voice that you have now boarded the plane, and so I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you enjoy your flight and perhaps your Bloody Mary to start your early Tuesday morning, my friend. And we'll catch up with you again soon on Friday with the game here against Pittsburgh. So good luck on the cask and have a safe flight.
Great read by you. Thank you. See you both. Have a good day.
There was a little bit of Shelley time on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, there was a decibel change. So, yeah. Look, this is what I asked him this is where they are as a franchise, guys. We've seen this, Reese, how many years now in a row where in November, December, a 5-game losing streak turns into 10 or 8 or 9, and the season's lost by the time you get to December. And we said this in regard to the Cavs and the Buckeye basketball, men and women. You have got to be relevant in January. Otherwise, we will turn you off. And with all of the things they dealt with in the offseason, the lead up to the season, the tragedy, all of it, there was so much emotion in the beginning of this season. This is what I think all of us feared, is that a roster that does not have experienced talent. It has talent, but not experienced talent, just getting overwhelmed as this season goes along. And it is really critical. This is not a chase. This isn't a chase the 8. It's not any of those things. I'm not changing. That's not what it is. You're going to be in the lottery again. But you want to play the right way, and you want to try to develop culture amidst the losing, and that's so challenging.
Yeah, and this month of November is a meat grinder, to say the least, because you got Pittsburgh on Friday night, Boston, Tampa Bay, Carolina, Montreal, Calgary, like this.
Well, then it's another trip. Do you see that other trip that's out there in early December? They go at Chicago, at Calgary, at Edmonton, at Vancouver, at Winnipeg. That can suffocate.
True trial by fire.
Yeah, that can absolutely suffocate it. So it's a tough stretch, and unfortunately, I think all of those of us who are casually following them, not someone who's certainly I can pretend I'm there grinding every day, paying attention to everything, but in terms of casually following them, this was the biggest fear. that something like this would happen. You'd end up a 5-game losing streak doesn't become a 10. So that's where they are. We'll do the AFC North side of things. The Bengals at some point have to win one of these must-win games. They got a huge one this week. It's against the Chargers. We will hear from Zach Taylor on that. And if the team still believes it can be a contender in the AFC, that's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. The Daily Coach Ryan Day Show is brought to you locally by Credit Union of Ohio and by Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
It's a Daily Show with Coach Ryan Day, brought to you by Safe Flight Auto Glass. You'd been talking about something brewing on special teams. You finally had something develop this past Saturday, and boy, what an influence that seems to have a football game.
Yeah, it changes the entire game, and we're going to need that here as we move forward. Made a few adjustments there in personnel, and so we'll keep grinding on it. And I think it's going to build, a little bit more urgency there in those meetings, which is great. I think we've been working really hard at it. So good to see the guys get, some results from all the hard work they've been putting in. But again, big opportunities moving forward to change the game on special teams.
We'll have another comment in just a moment.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safe Flight Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelight.com. Safe Flight Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
Alrighty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Coach, we saw Caleb Downs. We've seen it for a while, but also Travion Henderson in the return game and return situations. Is that just something that's expanding their skill sets?
Yeah, we're trying to, put our best guys back there and allow them an opportunity to return some. We really haven't had many punts in the last few weeks that we've actually been able to handle. A lot of them have been short or out of bounds. So those opportunities are coming, and so we're going to keep working hard on these returns and the technique and making sure we have the right guys in the right spots and give these guys some room to go take it back, because in the battle of field position, every 10 yards matters, and those are all first downs. But Brandon Ennis will be back there as well. We have multiple guys we can use, but Caleb and Trey right now are guys that we feel like can really give us something back there.
This is the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
What do football and finances have in common? The team you play with makes a big difference. Credit Union of Ohio is your financial team to help you save and spend like a winner. Whether you're looking to make a big purchase or find ways to build up your savings, you'll always work with a team player at Credit Union of Ohio. Navigate your next big money play easily through Credit Union of Ohio's website at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And as always, we're brought to you by our great friends at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without the medications. The solution for weight loss is Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I think it was you, Reese, that said this was a must-win for the Bengals, and I tended to agree Thursday that it was a must-win against the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. I can't imagine the frustration because you play offensively about as perfect as you can, and you lose. You scheme up a play, and I was for what they did going for the win. It's from the 3-yard line, and you have Joe Burrow. I'm for it. Should have been a hold on Gesicki, obviously. The only thing that I disagreed with was not throwing the ball to number one. I think Cole had his stats 11 for 267 and 3 touchdowns. I would have made sure he got a 12th. Is probably what I would have done there. I would have found the way to get the ball to number one. Looked like they were running a play for Gesicki because Chase was running kind of like a fade on the top, is what it looked like, and then he turned it back when the play was extended. But I would have thrown to one. Other than that, I don't have a problem with it. The idea of a must-win, I think you convinced me, and I'm with you, that it felt like it was a must-win. And I think in spirit it was, but technically, here's the reality of it. From the Cincinnati perspective, they are currently, because of everybody else just sucking in the AFC, they are in the 9th spot as it sits. They are essentially tied. Indy has the tiebreaker, but they're essentially tied with Indy for the 8th spot. They're both 4 and 6. They are only a game behind Denver for the 7. That's it.
And luckily, they play Denver.
They do. And the reality is that Cincinnati would be arguably the most dangerous 7 seed in the history of the NFL postseason. Like, can you imagine being Buffalo and you go like 13-3 and your win for that is you get to play the Cincinnati Bengals in the first round of the playoffs? That's the 2-7 right now. If Cincinnati were to get in.
I guess I'd rather see Denver. I mean, you play them in Buffalo.
I don't want to see Burrow and Chase. But to our point, and to your point, and I think it's the correct one, that at some point you have to win. They're at the Chargers this week on Sunday Night Football. Then it's Pittsburgh at home. They get a bye. Then it's Pittsburgh at home. And then it eases up. So they really just need to win one of these two. That's really critical, is to win one of these two. At 4 and 6, that would get you to 5 and 7. And this is your stretch run. At Cowboys, that's pretty damn winnable, considering what it looked like a month ago. At Titans, yep. Browns at home, yep. Broncos at home, yep. And then at Pittsburgh, but who knows what you're going to get out of Pittsburgh. This could very easily play out the way that it's played out with Cincinnati in the past, where all of a sudden with Burrow, they're the hottest team in the NFL the month of December and go into the postseason flying high. But I also don't think you can't lose to both the Chargers and the Steelers. Like, at some point you have to win a game.
Yeah, the must-win thing, you have to have one of these. Like that losing Thursday night made these next two. If you are still on the fence about, well, I don't know if Thursday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens constitutes a must-win. Yeah. Okay, well, now Sunday night against the Los Angeles Chargers is. Because you cannot keep losing ground to teams that you are competing for wild card spots with. And I don't know if you feel free to laugh at this, but the Miami Dolphins also have a very easy schedule, in my opinion.
Do you have it?
Over the last month, they got the Raiders, then it's the Patriots. Packers will be a tough one. but then the Jets twice, the Browns, the Texans, and the Niners.
So they got Niners, Texans, Packers in their last. Miami's 3-6 for perspective. They're 3-6. So they do have a game in hand on Cincinnati.
Right.
And that they've already had their bye week. So they, I guess, are kind of in the mix too. But it's basically what's happened is this is why, like, even the Jets at 3-7, like, all of those teams can kind of still peddle a little bit of hope because there just isn't. There's the separation at the top, but the middle of the AFC is just, they're all really bad. The top of the AFC is beaten up on the bottom, is the reality of it. And I don't know that Denver is a team. Denver is the craziest team in the league to try to make sense of what they are week to week. They have been housed a couple of times. They were housed at the Ravens 41-10. That was 2 weeks ago. They've had some absolute housings that have happened to them, and yet at the same time, they've housed people. Like, they got some crazy wins on their schedule. They buried the Buccaneers at Tampa 26-7. So just a strange thing. In terms of the topic at hand on Cincinnati, I think despite the losing, there's belief. And Zach was asked about that. He asked about the team morale and where is it. Here's what he had to say.
I think everybody still sees the potential in our season. Losing a close game, it's a punch in the gut for sure. One that you think you got a chance to win, and it slips away from you. But at the same time, we know we got a good football team, and everyone believes that. And different guys, different places have been in these situations before, and there's evidence where you can pull out of it and still have a tremendous season. And so that's what our focus is right now, is focus on the Chargers to point ourselves in that direction to have a tremendous season.
Zach also does acknowledge that, yeah, at some point we got to win, and the Chargers game is big.
Just again, winnable for this Bengals squad, but defensively, I don't have faith over the next 2 weeks they can win those games. Unless they score, 35 plus, and they could.
Well, what you just said explains. I mean, that's basically their season. They have a stupefying loss. This home loss to New England is just unexcusable. You cannot lose that game to start the year 16-10. But since then, it's heartbreak left and right. I mean, they lost to the Chiefs 26-25. They lost to the Commanders 38-33. They lost to the Ravens 41-38. They got hammered by the Eagles. And then they lost 35-34 to the Ravens. When they play good teams, they lose. Their wins are against Carolina, the Giants, the Browns, and the Raiders. That's it. They haven't beaten one good team. Not one. So if that's going to change, it's going to happen this Sunday in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles is good. And they're going to play great defense, and they've now unleashed Herbert a little bit. Didn't have to last week. But at some point, you got to win these games.
Feels like the same thing with Pittsburgh. Like, how good was it for Mike Williams? How good do you think it felt for him to catch that touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers, knowing what went on with his old team, the New York Jets? Or probably when he got to the locker room, then he realized what was happening.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, just to continue and pull out from the AFC North conversation, look at the whole operation. I mean, Pittsburgh, and then Tyvis said this Monday when he was on with us, this very much resembles the Seattle Seahawks of Russell Wilson. Lights out defense that causes all sorts of problems and creates havoc. Pretty sound running game with both backs. And now they have Williams and Pickens who Russ can throw it up to, and they'll make plays aggressively. So it very much mirrors what Russ has there. And now, I was curious on the idea of moving off of Justin Fields when they did it, but now you get it. It does make sense. You see why they did it. There's a stability with Russ back there. He wasn't even great in this game against Washington. He was 50% completions, but they were clutch, and you saw what it meant. Cole, what did you make of George Pickens? I looked like he was trying. It was like kind of went zombie on the interception.
On Mikey Sainer still?
Yeah,
whatever you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, the Michigan safety. I've never seen any, but it looked like he was trying to eat his neck.
Yeah, this is like the Steelers' version of DK Metcalf. Every now and again, DK Metcalf will have his explosions on defensive backs who are kind of just standing there. I mean, you're asking a lot of me to try to explain what's going on between George Pickens' ears. I got to be honest.
This was the issue with him coming out.
But he is weird.
He is. He's a different cat, and it's why he fell where he fell in the draft. It had nothing to do with his talent. It had only to do with, could you trust him? And that's why probably the only place that could have picked him is a place like Pittsburgh that is stable and has one voice in leadership. I know for a fact, up in Cleveland, they were like, yeah, no, we can't bring him in here. That's not going to be. They loved his talent, but you couldn't bring him in here. But in Pittsburgh, you can, and that's part of it. I think both Pittsburgh and Baltimore are going to be very dangerous in the postseason if they can both stay healthy. I wouldn't be surprised if either one went all the way to the Super Bowl.
You talk about teams nobody wants to see.
No,
it's experience for both, and then it's that with Baltimore. When's it going to be for Lamar? Feels like it's got to be now.
Well, we went over it in the Blitz. Like what Lamar is doing this year is borderline. I didn't know he was capable of this. 70%, 24 touchdowns, 2 picks. In his last 5, 15 touchdowns, 1 pick.
They haven't even had to really. In January?
What's that, buddy?
I said, is he capable of it in January?
That's it. And that's it. If he wins his 3rd MVP, which he's going to win, he'll be the only guy with 3 who doesn't have a Super Bowl. So at some point, or a championship. So at some point, he has to. So the pressure on him in January will be immense.
Because we have this whole discussion, and it's important to do this now, because when you think about it in January, who's the most likely to be there? It's the damn football wizard and Andy Reid.
Yes, they're going to be there because they're going to go 14 and they 14-3. They might go 15-2. So yeah, they're going to be there. It's just they activated Pacheco today too, so they'll get a little bit of weaponry back there. So they'll be there. Can one of these AFC North teams, and I think all 3 of them could give him a challenge. Certainly. We'll hit 3 things on a Tuesday up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Shop Dell Technologies' Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
APCO, windows, siding, and decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Meijer holiday deals are here. Plus, when you spend $100 or more in-store this week, you'll receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Redeemable the week of November 17th. Find the perfect gift for even the hardest to buy for on your list. Like assorted Squishmallow plush, only $14.99 each. Select Lego playsets are buy one, get one 40% off. And select games for the entire family are just $10 each or less. Shop Meijer today for even more great holiday deals and savings. Exclusions apply.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co., located right here in Columbus. Introducing their newest product, 614 Vodka, Ohio's house vodka. Perfect to make a drink at home or try when you're out at your favorite local restaurant. Learn more at 614vodka.com.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
At Diamond Cellar, we've been crafting love stories for over 77 years. Trust, quality, and always the guaranteed best price. Visit us today to experience the Diamond Cellar difference. Stop into our showroom on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
The Daily Fan Poll asks, how many noon kickoffs do you think Ohio State should play each season? Your options are none, 1 to 5, 6 to 11, or every game. 1 to 5 is getting the bulk of the respondents here at 76%. 6 to 11, 8%. Every game, 4%. No games at noon is getting 9% there.
I want to be abundantly clear on this. I do think that noon has its place. I think the Michigan game should be at noon. I think 1 to 5 is the correct answer. A third of your schedule, you should be expected that you're going to play at noon. But I also think that Ohio State should have the authority and the power to say, not on this one and not on that one. And I'm looking at Penn State games or future Oregon games, and I'm talking about Texas next year in the opener. You should be able to look at those games and say, not that one. Those we protect. We have got to have some environment that can only be had at night or only be had at 3:30. So that's what I hope that they can figure out in the future. Time for 3 things on a Tuesday.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number one for me, when I was on with the Juice Bringers this morning, Shark said, boy, what happened to your voice? You coming down with something? I said, no, third graders. And he started to laugh. So I thought it would extrapolate. Voice a little gravelly today. So we had, as I mentioned yesterday, we had third grade first games for Bootsy. We played 3 games, and this is what I realized. When you're coaching third graders who don't know where to stand in many instances, you end up yelling a lot, not because you're yelling at them in terms of aggressively, because it's the only way they can hear you, because in most of these gyms there are multiple games going on at once and multiple crowds and fans, so you just yell, and it occurred to me, I basically yelled for 3 hours straight, Saturday and Sunday, and so the voice took the hit for it today.
Well, hopefully you'll have you got to do a little bit of radio
I'll wet the whistle tonight, so that'll help.
Say your voice, you're going to need it tonight as we be doing stage announcements and introductions, and you're really the master of ceremonies for our Make a Difference Gala. Yes.
I haven't even looked at it.
No, well, now you know. I volunteered you last week for everything. You'll have Brady and Bob, so they'll be able to help you. Mix. Okay. But my friend, get ready to
there's a lot.
Speak. Looking forward to seeing everybody for that. We still have some limited tickets that are available. So if you want to jump on those before 4 p.m., it starts at 6:30. I'll be parking cars.
L.A. Reese.
You trust me at all. And I just want to mention before tonight, the first thing about growing a good mustache, in my opinion, is that you grow the whole thing out, then you shave it, so you don't look like a creep as you're trying to just grow the thin line under the nose.
I agree with you, yeah.
So I was rereading both of my grandfather's obituaries yesterday because they are both veterans and it was Veterans Day. Now, full transparency, that's not something that was like talked about. It's honestly kind of easily forgettable that they were both veterans, but I was reminded of it, went back and read it, and I also had forgot reading this. In my maternal grandfather's obituary, it mentions that he had 5 holes in one in his life.
What?
And before Timmy and Rothman coming here, I don't know which course it was. I don't know which hole it was. I don't even know which tees he was hitting from. But 5 holes in one lifetime. Life well lived.
Wow. And you're right. On my grandfather served, and they didn't talk about it. This didn't.
It just didn't come up.
No, it didn't. Number two for me. It occurred to me the boys have really for this entire football season played the college football video game. And they find different ways to play it. They do like the build a player thing. They've done the dynasty mode thing. Now they're like building franchises. Like they do all of these different things. And they were doing it last night. And I go, have you guys played Madden at all? And they said none. We bought the one where you got Madden and college football at the same time. They have not played a second of Madden. And I do wonder if the college football game stole the Madden audience this year to a certain extent. My hunch is it did.
It's just better.
It is. It's way more fun.
The product, the atmospheres, the teams, it's just more fun. The Ohio State offensive line has been named a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. Yes, the entire offensive line. Joe Moore Awards given to the best offensive line unit in the country. Alabama, Army, Indiana, Iowa, Notre Dame, Oregon, Tennessee, Texas, and Tulane are the other semifinalists. Washington won it last year, had a pretty good season. Michigan won it in 21 and 22. They had a pretty good offensive line unit, so some pretty quality company to be in for the slobs for Ohio State.
Connor Stallions was coaching at one high school in Michigan earlier in the season, and now that it's the playoffs, he's coaching at a different high school in Michigan. Now he's coaching at Belleville High School. In a completely related story, the Michigan Wolverines are trying like hell to flip Bryce Underwood, who is the number 2 recruit in the nation behind Tavian St. Clair, who many of you know about. And would you like to take a wild guess as to which high school Bryce Underwood goes to?
Oh, come on.
Start with a B?
Yeah, and it ends in Elville.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
come on.
Sharon Moore, you are a clever man if you're sending in your operatives named Connor Stallions to try to go recruit this guy. And you know what? If you flip him away from Brian Kelly, I'm more than cool with it.
Oh, my gosh. You can't really make that up. We did our Yellowstone review earlier. This is a quote for Kevin Costner. I didn't see it. I heard it's a suicide, so that doesn't make me want to rush to go see it. Well, they're pretty smart people. Maybe it's a red herring. Who knows? They're very good, and they'll figure that out. To me, as I said in the review, I think it was personal with Sheridan and Costner. Like, you're not coming back? Fine. We're done with it.
Yeah, I'll make this my third thing, too. They need to not have a season 6 of Yellowstone.
No, it's done. Be done.
We're good here.
Ryan Day is going to speak to the media next. So Rothman and Ice, which is usually from 12 to 3, will be going from what time to 3, Bo?
12:28:32.
12:28:32. And
that's my guess.
If you miss it, if you can't stick around, work, family, whatever's going on, we're going to probably play some of the audio on this show tomorrow.
Can't wait to see all of you at the Make a Difference Gala tonight. And remember, tomorrow, broadcasting live at High Bank in Grandview. Look forward to seeing you all out there. Going to be a fun night tonight and day tomorrow. Coach Day coming up next. Then Rothman and Ice, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination. This is a Fan Action Update.
Done with the Prime Sports app today, or visit primesportsbook.com and use the promo code JUSTSPORTS for a welcome bonus of up to $100. Updated Super Bowl odds have the Chiefs as the favorite at 4-1, with the Lions right behind them at plus 450. Ravens are 6-1, Bills 8-1, 49ers 9-1, Eagles are 10-1, and the Steelers are 22-1 to win the Super Bowl. For your Prime Sports Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Hey Columbus, Caden Curry here, Ohio State student-athlete for Green & Sons, the premier Kubota dealership in Central Ohio. I've had to be versatile my whole football career. Of course, I'm a defensive end, but I've also played special teams and even played fullback. Whether I'm blocking or tackling, I've got to be ready for any job out there, which is why I love the versatility in Kubota's BXB and L Series tractors. There's no task too big or small with Kubota tractors from Green & Sons. Visit greensons.com today, or stop by their stores in Mount Sterling and in Raymond, north of Marysville, and get yourself a Kubota tractor that works as hard as I do.
Save big money and update your home with beautiful Mastercraft doors at Menards. Mastercraft has been building high-quality doors for over 50 years. Choose from our great in-stock selection or design your door your way with our free step-by-step design program, online or in-store. Save big on your new door at Menards. And check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season?
Anthony Rothman here to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas,
where you'll compete for the grand prize, a trip for two to New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory.
This week, join me on Friday night at Brothers Bar and Grill in the Arena District. I'll be there 5 to 7 p.m. getting ready for the Jackets, and I'll give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
Great game. You got into the end zone again and again. How'd it feel?
Awesome. Like getting a new iPhone again and again. I just got the new iPhone 16 Pro today.
Really?
Yeah. And with AT&T Next Up Anytime, I can upgrade early every year.
Very nice.
Feel like an MVP again. Learn how to get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us and the latest iPhone every year with AT&T Next Up Anytime. AT&T. Connecting changes everything. Offer subject to change. Additional fees, terms, and restrictions apply. $0 offer may not be available on future iPhones. Next Up Anytime feature may be discontinued at any time. See att.com/iPhone for details.
FX's English teacher. Every single one of these essays is so bad.
An F? What is this?
With grades like this, I'm gonna have to hit the corner, sir.
From executive producers of What We Do in the Shadows.
Who's running the school? Is it us or is it them? Them.
Go sit next to Tiffany.
She told me it was offensive to learn Mandarin because you're not Japanese.
FX's English teacher is now streaming on Hulu. All new Mondays on FX.
Attention, small business or sole proprietors. Do you want to save money on health care for your business? Be able to cover your employees with the best dental, doctors, and hospitals? Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for the SACA Benefit Plan. Nearly 100,000 members strong in the state of Ohio. The SACA Benefit Plan is administered by Anthem and could be right for you. Small businesses, visit 844medohio.com. That's medohio.com. The SACA Benefit Plan could be